Well, it's good to have cask strength Lefroy left. I only had regular on the trip. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Talking Shit 2 Wednesday. I'm your host, Jade Kane. And for those who don't know, this edition is... Cliff, don't distract me. Side chat. This edition is Jade's funeral, the good, the red line, and the red line. I'm sure this is all over the grapevine already, but there were... All right, you know what? I'm just going to relay my experiences directly, and we'll start with the facts, and I'll leave the speculation for later. You know, like what I think is wrong with him, those kind of things, or what I think or the stories that other people told me about how things. Basically, everyone involved has a story about Red's atrocious behavior, and we're not talking about one day. We're talking about the entire trip. It was that bad. It was... All right, anyway. So I arrived and went up to the room, and I did not even know Red was there. He was in the other room. I was talking to, I believe, Fiona and Cliff, and we were just having a good time. It's nice to meet Cliff for the first time. Cliff is awesome. Fiona continues to be awesome. You know, she was on a New York trip with us all, where things were much better.
I agree. I'm awesome, and so is Fate.
This is the quiet. This is just my riffing. Okay, thanks though. So yeah, Cliff is awesome. I didn't even know Red was there. Hannah was there too, I believe. And I said, is Red here? He's like, is he still on the phone? She says, you still on the phone? Yeah. And so didn't even talk to him yet. So I leave because there's things going on. And when I finally get a chance to come up another time and say, because I see Red, I'm like, hey, that's it. That was the only words I got from him. I'm like, okay. Kind of a dickish thing. I had thought previously we had buried the hatchet because we had a conversation where I apologized to him for calling him a liar. I did this not because he didn't lie, because he is a lying cocksucker, and we confirmed it multiple times, but just because I don't care about stuff like that. Sorry, Fiona says it was at the pool that I first talked to him. Yeah, well, that was one of the times. Anyway, I find out, talk to my wife a few hours later after, people all arriving, we're all chatting and mixing up and going back to rooms and back and forth. And she says she went up to him and he was just dismissive, just like wouldn't even shake her hand, just dismissed her. Like, okay, now what the fuck? He has at least some reason to be upset at me. I did call him a lying cocksucker. By the way, I still stand by it, despite the fact that I told him otherwise. But not my wife. I'm surprised. I'm surprised she didn't deck him. But she was cool about it. She was just kind of shocked, like, wow, that's unusual. I don't even know this guy. Why is he being rude to me? So time continues, and this is when Red becomes responsible for a really bad fight between the wife and I. Now, we went on our anniversary to San Francisco a couple years ago, and so this is just, we go to San Francisco, we go together. That's just the thing. It's important. We love the place. We have fun there. So when everyone was talking about, and Red was not involved in this, again, he's hiding in his room. Don't know why. It's just Kevin, Jackie, and the rest, and that's who's Fiona, Cliff. And we're all talking about like where we're gonna eat, and Hannah's like, apparently Red is gonna take us to some super duper burger, and Fiona's like, I want Wendy's. We're like, okay, well, so we got a Wendy's group and we got a super burger group. Now, as far as anyone can tell, these are both fast food places that are within a mile or two of the hotel. So I'm like, well, I didn't come here to have stuff I can eat back home. I've never heard of super duper burger. I assume it's some fast food out here. I'm gonna get in the car. So I went and get the van. Red is icy cold, but whatever, he's the driver. Turns out Super Duper Burger is 45 minutes away in San Francisco, which he told nobody in the car. Myself, Kevin, Jackie, what are we doing out here? with no idea. Like, okay, what the fuck? What? I mean, I was having a good time. I was talking to Hannah Anderson. I'm not going to use her real name. I was talking to Hannah Anderson, and we were just having a grand time chatting, and then I'm like, we're on the highway? I literally looked up, like, we're on the highway. Like, okay, I guess this place is a little further than I thought, but it's still relatively close, right? No, we just keep going 45 minutes to go into downtown San Francisco to some little restaurant that apparently is a fast food place that's there. And why are we there? Because Reds, unbeknownst to the rest of us, had wanted to go chat with some guy he knew on YouTube. And fuck the rest of us. We're just there along for the ride. So we get there, I'm like, I tell my wife in San Francisco, and she loses it, understandably. She understandably thinks I'm lying. She thought that I must be lying. Like, no one would just get in a car and travel the distance without knowing. Well, I wouldn't expect to not be told that, especially when the options are Wendy's, obviously a local place, and Super Duper Burger. For those who don't know, Wendy's is just a chain all over America. There's tons of them. So that was bad. The meal was shit. I can't tell you why. It just wasn't a very good meal. And then we couldn't get him out the motherfucking door. I'm still trying to be polite. Like, hey, it's Jackie and Kevin. You can look at Kevin and Jackie's faces. They're both exhausted and also annoyed. And he's like, yeah, keeps talking to the guy. And I swear to, I'm like, Hannah, you want to? And she's trying, and we can't get him out the fucking door. And I'm like, I was this close to getting an Uber for everybody just to say, go fuck you, Reds. But I'm still like, hey, maybe we can salvage this. I get home, and of course, the wife she's been crying while I've been gone. She was so upset that I would leave her there, and I had to spend time to explain this to her. So thanks, Reds, for that fucking night. It continues on, and he has the same behavior the next day. He likes to either play with his drone or just try not to look people in the eye and avoid talking to him. I catch Fiona crying more than once because of his antics in the room. Hannah is just upset trying to keep the peace, although I kind of wish she hadn't. I wish she had just kind of drawn the line and thrown him the fuck out of the room. And the room's not in his name. I wish he just dumped him out of the room. It would have saved us all a whole lot of heartache. Most events he did not come to. It got to the point where people were not, later on in the week, people weren't even, he basically had the room to himself, which is supposed to house 6 people because no one could stand him anymore. Like one other person, but after the issues that happened, which this I heard secondhand, so I'm not going to talk about here. I'll let other people talk about that. But after other confrontations, it just got worse and worse. And finally culminated with, after Jade's funeral, we went to Sherry and Ellen's place. They were wonderful, awesome people. And Red wouldn't even go in the fucking house. You know why? Because Pew was there. That's his excuse. Pew was standing there. Pew is... sorry, Pew. He's fragile. He looks like a thinker guy, not like a fighter guy. He's not Sam. He just looks like he's always going to be lost in thought. He's got poofy hair. And he just looks like a nice kid.
He's also twice Red size.
Oh, yeah, maybe in weight.
Yeah.
That's only because Red is a stick figure. So because Pew apparently was in the room, he says he didn't go in and, I don't know, thank them for this food and shit and all these things they've done for us.
He did not say a single word to either of the 2 ladies or any of Jade's family, and there were about 5 of her cousins and there were kids there.
Fucking Lord, like that is beyond the pale, not okay. So honestly, the thing is, while we should be talking about our experience with Jade, we kept getting stuck in this loop of talking about the bullshit Red had just pulled, and there was a new one every fucking day. He calmed down for just a little bit outside of their house where he wasn't just being a complete ass, although I could tell by how his eyes at Hannah, he's being a dick to her. And it just kept getting worse and worse. And he apologized, sort of. We're not even sure if he wrote the apology. First, after the confrontation involving Cap and Drag and Sam, which I did not witness, so I won't comment on just yet. After that, he did finally introduce himself to my wife without apologizing. He came in supposedly to apologize. His apology is, oh, well, I was just an autopilot, because Jade, is an autopilot. And so that's why I was a little, different and maybe not as polite as perhaps should have been. Anyway, that's the reason. So, hi, I'm Reds. Nice to meet you. I'm going to leave now. Fuck you. That's not an apology. That's telling me why you're doing, which, by the way, again, like so many other things you said, reeks of bullshit. And that actually, my wife was willing to take it. It just pissed me off more. Like, it's just, I couldn't believe after all that. But I'm waiting for the I'm sorry to come out. I heard other people, I heard someone else got one, and Cliff can mention that before. But nope. So after he finally leaves, him and Hannah both have a flight. Hers is first and his is second, so they're in the same gate. And we get a message from him on Hangouts like, I'm finally saying I'm sorry. To which I told him, go fuck yourself. I've seen too many women over too long a time crying. And it's just, that is not okay. An apology after one day of this bullshit, but you went on for 4. We are not friends. You are. I'd call you an enemy if I had enemies, but I don't. You're just some sack of shit I've now blocked and have no interest in talking to again. Because wow, you are that fucking bad. I will talk to G-Man first before I talk to your fucking ass again. Would you like to come in and hang out? No, go fuck yourself. Start your own. I'm breaking with tradition here. We're gonna talk shit about you, and you can't come in and defend yourself. Because I don't need anyone else here being triggered and you upsetting anyone else again with some revised history bullshit. So that's my position. And honestly, he is obviously not. If I have any control, if I have any creative control, he is not invited to any get together ever again. I'm gonna go to San Diego. I'm gonna fuck Cap's girlfriend, and he's not allowed coming. No red. Cap can come. That's a little in-joke that you heard about later. So that was my experience with Red's rhetoric. And by the way, I still have some class. I know his real name. No one's going to hear it from me. All right. So raise your hand if you'd like to share.
Fiona.
I'm not going to make Fiona. She got the brunt of a lot of this, and she might not want to talk about it. What about you, Kev?
Well, okay. I didn't really have very much, like, he didn't do anything to me directly other than, well, when we got there, like, he ignored us. The first time I saw him at all was when we were all going down to the van to go into San Francisco, which, I mean, I realized might take longer than everyone else thought, and I was okay with that. I was like, oh, we're gonna go meet another YouTuber. Okay, I'm up for an adventure. But he was driving. He had his hat on, his hoodie down. He didn't want to talk to anyone. So as I climb in, like, I pat him on the shoulder. It's like, hey, dude, it's nice to meet you. And he goes, it's nice to meet you. That's about all he said to me all night. Like, with me, he was worse than he was with everyone else, because sometimes when I would say something to him, he would just ignore me. He wouldn't even give me a 3-word answer. Yeah, so when we got out of the restaurant, when we were at the restaurant in San Francisco, yeah, Jackie was really tired. She was not happy. And we went to go walk around a little bit in San Francisco just to get out of there. And that's the first time she broke down crying. She didn't understand why the fuck Redline was being that way to her.
No one should ever make Jackie cry. That's just not okay.
And yeah, that happened. It happened again later, like the next day. She really got upset and broke down crying. Not so much that he had done anything directly, just because of how much fucking negative energy that was just pervading the whole trip that he was responsible for. I
feel worse for the people in the room with him. He had what, 5 people staying with him?
Yeah, Cliff and Fiona and
Drag.
Oh yeah, Drag was in there for like one night, and then after that, the second night he was only there for 2 nights. He went to sleep in Captain Sam's room. Drag was so quiet during the whole thing. Oh, that's right, Xavier. Oh, I forgot you were in there too. Yeah. Sorry, I just kind of lumped you and Drag and the same. Drag Xavier.
We are just one entity now.
Yeah.
Drag actually went to the room, packed up his case, and became a refugee. The same,
yeah.
And he was the first one to become a refugee. I was the second. Cliff helped me get all my stuff out, and I went with Deidre, and so did Hannah that night.
Yeah, so most of what I was exposed to was kind of secondhand. I'm kind of a very non-confrontational person, especially like in real time, like in Hangouts or face to face. So he didn't do anything that pushed me to actually get in his face. But yeah, I also think he might be terrified of me. Not sure about that. I know why he didn't. I know the reason why he wasn't talking to me. Most likely, at least this is my guess, this is what Pew told me, was back when all the shit was going on with Pew and Steve McRae and Redline got his butt involved in it. He was cold calling everyone in the community repeatedly, and he made several calls to Jackie, including one when she was at work. And I told him in the live stream, remember when he did that little live stream where that was like a smear campaign against Vince that he took down? He called Jackie at work, told whine about it before he went live. And then I said in the live chat, if you call her again, I will look into filing harassment charges against you. Stop it. So I think he's terrified of me, and that's why he wouldn't speak to me. But like everyone else, I had no idea how that it was going to be that bad.
Did you threaten the nuclear option?
Oh, that is not the nuclear option. I could have done a lot worse. But he's not worth it.
I'm not sure what the nuclear option would be. I mean, could drop him. That just seems I wouldn't do anything except that would piss him off and make me look bad for even doing it. So that's not on the table.
Oh, there's plenty of shit I could do to make his life miserable if I really wanted to, but I won't because he's not worth it.
That was a joke with the Steve.
Yeah, nuclear option. Yes. Yeah, there it is.
That was an in joke.
Yeah.
All right, well, Cliff, you were in the room.
Oh gosh, well, it was worse than that because I was the first of all of us to arrive. I had a good deal on my flight, but it meant I had to come a day earlier. So I arrived, I went to an Airbnb, dumped my suitcase off, went into the city, back to the Airbnb, stayed the night, went to the airport. I was there waiting for him. I was watching his plane coming in because I knew what flight he was on. After 4 days, I finally got the message which flight he was on. After I asked him about it.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah, I got it via Fiona after asking for 4 days and still getting nothing. So what happens is I've seen a picture of him once. You know, I'd never met him. He'd been kind of really quiet and, you know, kind of one word answer kind of stuff, you know, one sentence answers, you know. So I didn't really know the situation. So I'm waiting in the arrivals gate, at the arrivals gate, waiting for him to walk through. Can't really remember what he looks like, you know. I don't know if he's thin or whatever, you know. This one picture I've got, it's, you know, it's close up to the cameras. He can't really be sure. You get an idea. So you expect someone to come up, say, "Hey, I'm Redline," or whatever, something like that. No, what happened was he walked out, you know, and suddenly, and I didn't recognize him. So suddenly, someone immediately to my right slams a bag down on the ground and then picks it up and walks away without saying a word. And my Aspie brain goes, "What the fuck happened there? Was this a stranger? Was this Redline? Who was this?" And so after my brain buffers for a few seconds, I like get up and follow him. And he's striding away around a corner and then gets to some chairs and kind of flops down. And I'm guessing you're Redline then. And he might have even been on the phone and then started, you know, and then when he finished the phone call, I said, "I'm guessing you're Redline then." And he says, "I thought the hat would have let you know because he was wearing a red Tesla hat." I didn't even know what a Tesla logo looked like. But anyway, so and he was just so frosty, and it's hard because, you know, I don't know what the situation is, so I'm kind of like treading on eggshells because I'm trying to figure out the situation. You know, this is what he's doing to the Aspie, you know. So, and all the time in previously, he was like, "Yeah, we're cool." Well, people who are cool don't do this kind of thing. It was really disturbing for me. So then, you know, he needs something to eat. So we have something to eat. What time's Fiona getting in and stuff like that? Because we're picking up Fiona. And things got a bit fuzzed out, but he needed sleep, so he kind of slept while we're waiting. And during that time, I posted a message, or you know, like 3 lines, in a G Plus group saying, "Okay, guys, gonna have to watch out here because Red is in a really bad mood." And he said to me before I typed this, that he's not here to make friends, he's not here to have a good time, he's here for a funeral, and that's it. And so I let people know, because I knew that, you know, if he's not in the mood for talking, this is going to create a little shadow that's going to hang over everybody. I wasn't expecting it to be the shadow it was. So I posted the message, and then of course, you know, the comments start going, and he looks at his phone when he wakes up and sees someone said something. It's like, "What the fuck is all this about?" And I told him, and he just sort of puts his hand in his head and just as in, "Why did you do that?" Well, because he then said he told me in confidence. Well, he didn't say it was in confidence, but I certainly thought everybody should be aware of it. And so, we meet up Fiona, and even then it was frosty, and we go to the hotel, and he said he was tired, and the reason why he was like a bit of shit with me, was because some deal he's got in the flat earther type stuff with a doxing incident or potential one or something or other, and the lack of sleep, that's why he treated me the way he did.
Well, I got to the airport to be confronted by nobody there to meet me because they were at the wrong terminal, because my flights got all changed. I phoned Redline from Edinburgh and told them I am no longer doing Edinburgh to Heathrow to San Francisco. Yeah. I'm now doing Edinburgh to Chicago to San Francisco, which meant I would be coming in a domestic flight and not an international. But he didn't tell Cliff this information.
Oh, that's not. Hang on. That's not. Well, that's not entirely true. It was. He kind of grunted some indications somewhere, but wasn't very precise at which case, I don't know what's going on. So I assume the story's still on from what it was before.
So Cliff wasn't given the information. Fiona's phoned. Our flights were all changed after she got into the departure lounge. She was suddenly airport-wide call for me, and I have to go, and I'm told my flights are changed. Anyway, because of the lack of communication between those two, they're waiting for me coming in at 3:30 at the international terminal. I'm not coming in until 6:30 in the domestic terminal from Chicago. And by the time they work out what's going on, I've already landed and there's nobody there. But by the time they got to me, the first thing I discover is that Cliff is completely confused and Redline is pissed off at Cliff.
Yeah.
And that was my welcome to San Francisco, Fiona.
After a shit flight, I mean, they kept messing you around. I hear there's even more trouble on the way home now. Ugh.
Oh, yeah, I've got no luggage now.
Yeah, there's no luggage.
Nightmare.
And most importantly, no fudge.
Yeah. So, I mean, it wasn't an auspicious start. And I'm trying to work out, right, okay, the best way to tackle this between these two, because we're in the same room. And it was really difficult because I really wasn't quite sure what he was annoyed about. Because what Cliff had posted was basically along the lines of a post that he'd planned to make himself, and I had said, do not post that. I will try and get the word out, though. And I really did my best to do it. But I was trying to do it in such a way as to not make him look like a dick. And I've told him this, that if I had just repeated it the way he'd written it, he would have looked like a dick. So I was trying to do it in a much more tactful way. So if my message didn't get across strongly enough, I can only apologise for that. But I didn't know what else to do. That was really, really difficult. Because I don't want to be the one that if I say the wrong thing in trying to relay this to people, that I make him look like a dick, so that if things go tits up on the trip, then I get all the blame for it. Oh, you made me look like a dick. I didn't want that. Right? Or like you're poisoning the well. That sort of thing would have come from all sorts of quarters.
Yeah.
So it was a tightrope I was walking on that one. But I did my best. And when things, when I heard about what happened with Jade's wife, etc., I was busy running about making excuses, saying, look, he's really tired. He's not slept for 36 hours. And anything to try and pour oil on troubled waters. And then eventually I just got sick of making excuses.
And one of the things that happened, Sophie,
if he wants to behave like that, I decided it was no longer my place to mitigate the blowback he would get.
I mean, at one point,
he's responsible. He's responsible for his own behaviour, and if blowback comes from that behaviour, then he has to take it. It's called consequences. And it was very difficult. But it went absolutely tits up for me. And I think it was the Saturday night after the funeral, when everybody's in one place playing Cards Against Humanity and having a great time. And Lucifer Almighty. We met Lucifer Almighty. He lives near Monterey. So he came along. So we met him. And he was having such a good time with us that he decided to come all the way up to Belmont for a night just riffing with everybody. And I got really tired, old and jet lagged. And I went back to the room. And that was me turning in for the night. And I was asked where was everybody. I said where everybody was. And I was asked, could I go and get Hannah? And I said, I'm in for the night. That's me for the night. And I just got a sort of frustrated sound and etc. And I thought, for a quiet life, I'm just going to go along. And all the way along, I was thinking, how's the best way to word this? Because by this time...
And not only that, Fiona, I just want to...
Cliff, let Fiona go, please. So wait till she's done, please, Cliff.
So all the way along, I'm trying to think the best way to say this, because I knew that a lot of people, they'd notice what had gone on during the day, and he'd not gone into Jade's friend's house. He'd not spoken to them. He was out in the street playing with his drone at the wake, and I knew that some of the guys were really annoyed that Hannah was being pulled away. She couldn't spend any time with anybody else. And here I was going to do it again. And I didn't know the best way to do it. So I just knocked on the door. The door was opened. And I said, Hannah, I think Red wants to talk to you. And then me and Hannah went back to the room. She went into her room with Red. And I'm about to get myself ready to get settled on the couch when the door opened and all the guys turned up.
Yep.
And they said, we're here to talk to Redline. And I went away and I locked myself in the bathroom and I wouldn't come out. I was staying in the bathroom.
Now, it's worth pointing out that the day when Kevin and Jackie and Pew and everybody arrived, Red was sequestered in his room. He wasn't coming out. And so Pew was in our room because we were hub at the start. And Red got really upset about this. Not, later on it emerged that Red was really upset. So I suggested, and everybody agreed, that we would use Kevin and Jackie's room as the hub so that we wouldn't upset him, so that we didn't, create an atmosphere that he couldn't even leave his own room without having to go through this army of people he obviously didn't want to be with. Yeah, so we would have a way to make it easier for him.
Mm-hmm. So we moved the social hub. So our room was the one that was going to have the most people in it. And it was also the first room to be occupied and the last one to be emptied.
Yeah.
But because he didn't like the fact that others had been in the you've got to remember, these are suites. So they had 2 bedrooms and they had a living area. And he didn't like the idea that people had been in the living area while he was in the bedroom. So for that reason, we thought, let's move the hub to Jackie's room.
Yeah.
And that way we can get round that problem.
Now, when the guys turned up and I was there, because everybody had heard all these things that had been going on, and Redwall has said that people barged in his room. The reality is that Orsimo was at the door and he's like knocking quietly, like, Red, we're here to talk to you, that kind of thing. And Hannah opens the door. And Orsimo stood there, and it's like, come on, man, what the hell's going on, kind of stuff. And he gets non-committal stuff. I don't remember. I wasn't there for this, but I don't know what Red said. But next thing you know, I'm Orsimo's sort of, you owe Cliff an apology. And effectively, Orsimo left, and me and Red talked for a good hour and a half. And he went over it, and it doesn't really matter what was discussed, in detail. But Red apologized to me. I've accepted that an apology. He and I don't have a problem in this. and he knows I'm going to say this, and he knows this. I'm still pissed at him for, wrecking the weekend by pissing everybody off. I'm still pissed at him for that, but we do have a relationship still. I've not completely dumped him, abandoned him kind of stuff, but I am irritated and annoyed at him for what happened at the weekend. And he knows this, and like I say, he's apologized to me for what he did to me. As for the rest, that's for other people to consider. But anyway.
I was just concerned because I knew that this was going to be talking about. But I do know that when Captain had turned up, we'd had Jackie and I said to Jackie, hey, it was Friday night, let's have a barbie. Let's have a barbecue. Because we knew that Sam and all the SoCal people were turning up with Spackle and Captain and Sam and all the rest of it and Dragnet. Let's have a barbie. So we went off to Safeway and spent the day shopping for a barbecue. And we had everything organised and we got the barbecue going. And everybody turned up in the middle of that, and I climbed up the Captain and wouldn't let go. Both legs round his left leg, both arms round his neck, and I stayed there. Anyway, Red wasn't at the barbecue. He just stayed in the room. He wouldn't come. Oh yeah, it was Target we went to. That's right. It was Safeway we spent our lives in, but
that was a good barbecue too.
We had an outing to Target just to change from Safeway. Anyway, that it was really good that Friday night. But it was obvious that he was, like just staying away from everybody. But when Captain had arrived, Captain had tried to go up and say hello to him. So this wasn't the Saturday night when it kicked off. This was the night before. He'd knocked on the door and said it was Captain. And Hannah had answered the door. And he didn't like the fact that Hannah had answered the door to the Captain, and he told her she was sleeping on the couch.
That alone.
Really quick, I'm on my phone. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah. Can I just finish this one bit?
Yeah,
The problem was that I was sleeping on the couch that night. Hannah slept on the floor beside me. She slept on the fucking floor.
So I'm just here really quick because this is my family time. I just want to openly address the all-seeing eye in the comments section because he's calling this a kangaroo court and all this bullshit. There's always one. I knew there'd be one. As far as I'm concerned, we are internet acquaintances, if not friends. I regard all of you as such. So when I heard that somebody is going up there on this trip to not make friends, like, well, as far as I'm concerned, the last time we Skyped each other, we were cool as fuck. So I didn't quite know how to interpret that. And it's one thing to be grieving, and I actually talked to him about this in length. Regarding that matter about people grieve in different ways, yes, they do. But this exceeds grieving, and how he was acting does not justify that sort of grieving. He was not grieving. He was just being a flagrant asshole. What triggered me, and I had heard on Thursday that he started pulling his shit, and I was playing it up like, okay, Captain's going to come and be Captain and be happy, larger than life. We showed up a little bit later. We had a long trip. We had a couple pit stops, but I wanted to go and meet Red. So Hannah took me up to the room, knocked on the door. Red opens up the door. He looks at me and he looks right at Hannah and says, "You're sleeping on the couch tonight." Slams the door in Hannah's face. That was me meeting Red for the first time. And it turns out Hannah actually did not sleep on the couch. She ended up sleeping on the fucking floor. That's inappropriate. That's not grieving. That's being a complete asshole. And on top of that, Hannah continues to knock on the door. It's like, "Hey, Red, do you mind if I get my coffee? Hey, Red. Hey, Red, can I get my coffee at least?" No reply. That's not grieving. That's being an asshole. Sorry, I just wanted to get that part out of the way first.
Hold on a second there. Cap, before you go, in case you have time, can you recount the time Drag and Sam and them went to talk to him?
Okay, so here's what happened. Again, please, to all the Red defenders, try to justify this as grieving. Please do so. because I would love to have a word with you, because how he was acting again was not grieving. It was just being an asshole. And for somebody who likes to postulate themselves as somebody who calls people out on the internet, he is not that guy in real life. I was so disappointed. There was maybe 3 people I was actually genuinely excited to meet on this trip. Red was on the top of my list because I thought him and I would be the best of chums, and we would just troll the fuck out of everybody and make fun of everybody. It was going to be hysterical. Turns out I was wrong. I met a lot more cooler people in my book. I had a great time. But what happened was, without getting too much into backstory, I'd been in a really abusive, manipulative relationship in the past. Everybody, because Sam and I, we had the party room. We were the fun room. Sam and I are bros for life. Xavier and I are bros for life. Drag and I are bros for life. We're the newfound wolf pack of the GDC. I brought my bigger, blacker Cards Against Humanity. Everybody was in the room except for Jade and his wife. They were off probably having sex because it was their honeymoon. That's fine. We were playing Cards Against Humanity. Canada was there. Everybody was having a great time. The Bosnian chicken farmer was a throwaway card that I just wanted to get rid of. Turns out that was the funniest thing ever, and I ended up winning that round. So it got to a point where Fiona was getting tired, and she said, "Hey guys, I'm tired. I'm gonna go to check. I'm gonna go to bed for the night." I was like, "Okay, cool. Night, Fifi." So she leaves. Maybe 5 minutes later, there's a knock on the door. Open up the door. Fiona's standing there looking absolutely defeated, disgusted, just all manner of just... I can't describe the look on her face, but she looked at Hannah and said, "Red wants you to come home," or something to that effect. "Red wants you." Hannah immediately puts down her card and says, "Well, it was fun, guys." And she caved like a house of cards. I've been in her position before in a similar relationship that I'm not going to get too far into, but I have been on Hannah's end of that sort of manipulative, emotional. I've been there. So when I saw her just put down her cards when we were having such a great time and just accept how things were and leave with Fifi, that triggered me. I was not going to have it because I've been there. For years, I've been there. And I started to feel that little spark in me. I was going to dismiss it. I didn't talk to Red at all, but I'd make little quips here and there. It's like, "Oh, Red, we're on a boat. Where's the curve?" Just little quips, just trying to get a smile out of the guy. God forbid. But that's where I drew my line right there. When I saw Hannah just with her tail between her legs and Fiona looking just completely disappointed, I started pacing back and forth. I was just.
And to your credit, you asked, "Does anyone want to stop me?"
Oh yeah,
no one did.
I wasn't going to go and beat the shit out of the guy. I had no harm or threatening or anything, but this kid needed a talk from a dude. "Hey man, what the fuck is up with you?" So, because I had heard too much at this point, and I saw too many people not saying anything to correct it, so something needed to be done, and this was my straw. Because everybody was having the best of time playing just a game of Cards Against Humanity. It was fun as fuck. Well, am I wrong? Xavier, you had fun?
Oh yeah,
no. Oh, yeah. I'm glad we got to play at least.
I'm like,
everybody, and it was a good way for all of us to come together and as much of a group as we could and just laugh and have fun for the sake of Jade. I can just imagine sitting there hearing Jade's laugh over these stupid cards we were putting down. It was a way for us to sort of honor Jade just by being all together and just having a cool as fuck time, which is what I thought the whole point of this trip would be.
Yeah.
So I'm pacing back and forth, just trying to collect myself, because now I'm near my boiling point. And I look to my new wolf pack. I look at Drag, who's just sitting in a chair like, the Dawn. He's just like, yep. Drag was surprisingly quiet. I'm sure he's just trying to get his thoughts together. I look at Drag. I look at Sam. I look at Xavier. I said, the 3 of you are the only ones in this room who might be able to stop me right now, but I'm going to go and have a talk with him. Drag said, "Yay, man, you do you." I was like, "Okay. Anybody else want to try to stop me? Because I'm going over there right now to have a word with him."
No, we all went with you.
So I went, Cliff went, Xavier went, and Kevin went. The 4 of us walked over to the room.
And Lucifer, he was with us too.
What was it? Okay, so
yeah, fucking Lucifer.
I go up, and I knock on the door. I think I was joking. Because there's the Sheldon knocked the red. I decided to go with the Pee-wee knocked the. Google it if you don't know. So I went with the Pee-wee Herman knock. So I knock on the door. Hannah opens the door. Red is there in bed. So Hannah opened the door, and I walked in. And at this point, I still have not been introduced to Red yet. So he was there in bed, and I walk in. I'm like, hey, Red, what's up, man? He's just like, whatever. I mean, the guy was probably tired and cranky. I give him that. So finally, I put my arm out and shook his head and was like, hey, Red, nice to meet you. Captain Osimo. Nice to finally meet you. Hey, man. What's up with you? You've been acting like kind of a douchebag this whole trip. What's up? I've been hearing a lot of things, and I've seen a lot of things. And what happened right now, that crossed the line with me. So, he tried to make a couple of excuses, whatever. I said, well, Red, here's what I want you to do. For starters, you need to apologize to Cliff, because that's one of the nicest guys in our community. And how I heard you treated him is disrespectful, considering that the guy suffers from a lot of, just, again, I'm phrasing this poorly, but, he suffers with a couple mental issues, and he overcame a lot during this trip, and I praise him for that. And knowing that he suffers from certain issues, he's one of the least people in this group that he should have been treated that awful. He shouldn't have been treated bad. So I said, you owe Cliff an apology for how you treated him right out the get-go. Number two, you need to go and you need to properly introduce yourself to JD's wife and say, hey, you know what? Sorry, I was going through a lot. I'm Redline. Sorry about earlier, just going through a lot, but it's nice to finally meet you. That was my second condition. And I said, number three, I want to introduce you to my girlfriend because she's heard a lot about you and the years that I've been on YouTube, and I've been excited to meet you. And then he started to bullshit about what happened with Cliff. Says, no, all right, you know what, Red, shush. Cliff, get over here. And so Cliff comes in the room. And I said, Cliff, you tell him exactly what you told me. And then that's when Cliff had his discussion with Red, and I dipped out, and that's all I got to say about that part. Cliff, that's on you.
Yeah, like I say, we chatted for an hour and a half. I was amazed you were still waiting outside.
Oh yeah, I wasn't going anywhere. I was sitting right there. There were no threats made from my end. I didn't get in his face. He did say that I was yelling at him, but I'm just I'm a red-blooded New Yorker in me. So I do have a bit of a loud baritone. I'm a very loud dude.
The only person that yelled, Captain, was Red.
Right.
That's the only person that yelled, and then in the entire discussion.
But my voice tends to travel, and I've been accused throughout my year. I'm used to it. People say that I'm yelling. No, I'm not yelling. I'm just a loud baritone. I'm not a quiet guy. You guys should know that by now, especially after hanging out with me. So,
yes, we know
it. So Cliff had his discussion. I was there for maybe an hour and a half, just waiting. I was reading Red's little NASA books, which are cool. Cliff came out.
I bought him, by the way.
What's that?
I bought that book for him.
Yeah, and I didn't know that. I just was flipping through it because I'm into that sort of thing too. So that's when Cliff came out and said, all right, well, he apologized and I accepted. I said, okay, well, that as long as he manned up and did the right thing, that's all that matters to me. However you take it, whatever you do with it, that's on you. So long as he made the effort, that's all I wanted to see. So Cliff said, no, he does have one thing. He doesn't want to talk to anybody else tonight. He just wants to be left alone. I said, okay, that's fine. So I pull Cliff and I go back to, let's call it the support room, which was with Jackie and Kevin and everybody. And I pretty much told everybody, look.
Everybody was in our suite that night.
Yeah.
Poor Sparkle, because can I just point out, Sparkle put in the live chat that she was actually asleep and there was suddenly a flash mob in her room.
Right. But here's the thing. This guy wanted to be left alone, but he didn't want to be left alone. Because how he was acting like, oh, I want to be left alone. I want to be left alone. But then he was frantically trying to call everybody that he felt he could somehow manipulate, mentally control or whatever. Hannah, he was just going down the roster of people he can try to call. And I told him, you all ignore him. This is the tantrum phase. He's not going to do anything, but he's going to stew. If he wants to be alone, well, guess what? He's going to be alone. So everybody who's in that room, there's enough room between all of us. You're not spending the night there in that room. Let him be by himself.
I broke away from that contract that everybody else did. And I felt that it was important to do that. Not to break from the contract as such, but when I went in there, I said, right, I'll be 5 minutes, I'll come back with my pajamas, I'll spend the night there. But when I got there, the 5 minutes turned into more than an hour and a half.
And you know what?
And hang on. Let me just finish.
All right, sorry.
And all the time I'm thinking, I should go. But actually, when I thought about it, I realized that was actually the best thing to do, in my opinion. Because if he just gets there to stew on his own, he gets the comfort of just saying, fuck those guys, they're wrong, I don't care. Whereas without me to remind him of why he needs to consider these things, why he needs to explore himself, effectively he's got to be a little more introspective, and say, yeah, maybe I was, he doesn't get the choice. Then he's got the counteracting opinion.
Can I
and
just...
if you know anything about me, I'm fair. I will look at it from the middle ground.
Can I just say something here, though, Cliff?
Mm-hmm.
We were all in the security blanket room, and you actually related two things that had been said, and that is when I absolutely freaked out and said I wasn't staying in the room because I was scared. And one was that he was going to phone the police. And the other one was they're lucky that I don't have my gun with me.
Yeah.
And that was it. I was done.
I think he specified his Luger.
Yeah. So Captain and Deidre were going, I don't know where they were going, but they were going along the top balcony. Because Jackie's one end of the balcony.
You needed your phone, and we were going to go and get the phone.
It was Hannah's phone.
Yeah, we need to get somebody's phone.
Yeah, so they were we were on the same balcony, but Jackie's room was at one end and ours was away at the other. And they were going along the middle balcony, and Redline was making his way along the ground. And I'm really sorry, guys, but it was so bad that when I heard that, I shut the door and put the big bolty thing across. And we had an arrangement that nobody was opening that door without looking through the peephole first. That's sad.
Right. Nobody threatened him at all. Nobody was physical with him. Nobody yelled at him. But to hear that he was telling Cliff, "Oh, you're lucky I didn't bring my Luger" or something, it's like,
Ruger.
What are you going to do, Red? You're going to pull a gun. Now he's going to say eventually that I kicked down the door and I busted into his room. Did not happen. For starters, I mean, if you want to be like stupid about it, I can pick a lock. It was a very basic Allen wrench. I could have gotten in that room if I wanted to, but both times I went into that room, I knocked. The first time was with Hannah when I first wanted to meet Redline, and that's when he opened the door, said, "Oh, you're sleeping on the couch tonight," and turns out she ended up sleeping on the fucking ground. That's the type of man he is. That's not a man. That's a fucking petulant child. Then the second time Hannah was in the room, I knocked on the door. She opened the door for me, and that's when I walked in. That was not busting down the door. So I'm sure that'll come up at some point, but I did not kick down any doors. I did not need to.
It was Cliff that came with me, and Jack had already appeared in Jackie's room with his suitcase. He'd moved out, and when I had heard that, I said I wasn't staying there. Cliff actually went with me once it had all calmed down, and we got my stuff out. But when Captain and Deidre were talking to him from the balcony, the police cruised by a couple of times, which made me wonder. I mean, at that point, I thought, has he actually already called them? We didn't.
Yeah, I thought he called the cops because there was like 3 or 4 cruisers, but it turns out we were just part of their route. But they did slow down a couple of times. all they saw was like a Romeo and Juliet situation, and two dudes not even like yelling at each other, just talking. So again, no voices were raised or anything. So we did think for a minute that Red had actually called the cops, but it turns out he didn't. We just, the timing couldn't have been any worse.
It was a bit of a worry, but the guys just got us females out of that room.
I'm trying to imagine what he could have even told. He's like, "Hey, this guy came in the room and he talked to me in this room that's not mine." I think of it as him trying to get some of his dignity back, which he failed. No, you don't get any.
I think my problem is that, I mean, everybody knows I've been very close with Redline, and I have tried to rationalize a lot of stuff. But I am now at the stage where my husband has banned me from any more get-togethers after this one because of what went down. In fact, on the Friday night, before Jade's memorial, I was actually talking about trying to get onto my carrier to get my flights changed to the Saturday morning to just get me out of there. And that was before the real shit hit the fan. Because I'd been locked out of the room in my pajamas because he wanted to go for breakfast. And he'd already taken away a key card and I couldn't find Cliff. So I was locked out in my pajamas.
No, I'll say this, Fifi, that could have just been a case of I didn't know if Fifi had a card or not. So I don't want to.
Yeah, exactly. No, I know that. I'm well aware of that. But it was the lack of communication. Because he could have said, I was just sitting down at the barbecue pit with Jackie, talking. So it's not as if I was far away. I was round the corner from the car. If he could just have checked. But the thing was, he'd kept a key card for himself instead of putting it beside the television. So we only had one between everybody else in the room. And I couldn't get in to get my passport to go and get more key cards because my passport was locked in the room. So that was me on the Friday. We were supposed to be going across the Golden Gate Bridge and doing things on the north side of the bridge that day. But that didn't happen because I was in my pajamas for quite some time. And I just thought, I want to go home. I just want to go home. And I was going to go home before the memorial if I could swing it. And it was Jackie that talked me out of it.
We weren't going to let you leave before the memorial.
But there's something that nobody's referenced so far. There was a deal made by Red in a backroom deal of that he was apparently only going to cooperate if Hannah basically was his servant, basically, during the trip.
I don't know anything about that.
Yeah.
There's always a deal with him. Always.
No, but it was in order. So anybody in the live chat that's even trying to defend him, if you have to make a deal with your girlfriend that she has to like drop everything if you say something during the trip in order for you to behave, there's no excuse for that. There's no reason that should ever occur with a goddamn adult. That's a goddamn child shit.
It's just I really don't know what else we could have done. I mean, for the sake of Jade, and because it's to get together for her.
Hey, can you guys still hear me? I'm new at using this on my phone.
Yeah, we still hear though. If you
okay, cool. All right, and I've never done this on my phone before, so
yeah, I get weird. All right, so go ahead, Fiona.
Right, so because we were all getting together, and this was for Jade, everybody was actually willing to go that extra mile, to walk on eggshells to a certain extent, to keep the peace. But every time we did it, the boundary was pushed more.
I regret that.
And if okay, he didn't want to talk to people, and people could have kept back from him. But then anybody being near his room, even when he wasn't in that living area of the room, that wasn't good. And all the rest of it. And that was really difficult because every time we made an allowance, another one was demanded.
So here's kind of going towards those who are probably watching who are going to jump on the Red is awesome because you can do basic high school trigonometry to disprove what a weather balloon and a blanket could also prove with more hilarity. And Fiona, I'm going to touch on something that actually happened very briefly with us, and that I actually talked to with Red when I confronted him the second time when we were on the balcony. If you were a decent human being that's going through emotional, I mean, we're grieving. We are all grieving in different ways, and I explained that to him. But here's the difference. First time he meets Cliff, hey, Redline, thanks to finally meet you. You know what? I'm just kind of in my own mind right now. We'll catch up later. I just need a few minutes. Yeah, all right. Yeah, cool, Red. Nice to finally meet you. There was a moment where Fiona was kind of having her moment. I walked by her on the steps going up to her room, and I said something just funny and fun and playful, and she said, oh, not now, Cap. I just need a few minutes. I'm like, sure, Fifi, okay. That's how an adult would handle things. Just, hey, man, I'm going through some stuff. You mind just giving me a few minutes? That way, you're acknowledging the fact that, hey, I'm not a dickhead. I just need a few minutes, but, you know, we're still civil. We're still cool. Do you remember that, Fifi, when I
said, yeah. Can you give me 5?
Yeah, and what did I say, Fifi?
You were fine about it.
Yeah, it's like how normal people should converse, adults should converse amongst each other. So this whole excuse about he was grieving, bullshit.
Although we did get into a wrestling match, you and me, Cap, at one point.
Yeah, let's say the lighter side of news.
No, that wasn't on the lighter side. That was when you were trying to stop me. I was going down.
Oh yeah. I mean, I wouldn't call it a wrestling match. I just wanted to.
Can I just make a big point here, okay, for the audience, okay. Awesomeo is filthy, and Fiona enjoys that.
She also evidently enjoys that he's fat.
Oh yes, he got fat shamed, and his girlfriend loved it.
I am not fucking fat. I have a dad bod.
That's pretty wonderful. That's the whole thing with you and Fiona.
Yeah. Can I just remind everybody that JD and the captain have both made this deal in front of their respective partners that if they have not lost £20 by January, they will appear in a mankini.
I'll do it. Fifi, I bought a scale from Target today.
I actually, this morning, I took a picture of the scale. Enclosed 210. That needs work. I'm 6 foot.
My money is on Cap. Sorry, JD.
Oh no, I'll take your money, Xavier, because I had like 3 bites of peanut butter today. I am serious about this shit. I'm dropping that weight.
My money's on JD because, again, as I've already said, you know, Awesomeo has no guile. He has no shame.
But the problem.
Sam, are you done shopping yet?
He doesn't mind being seen in a mankini. So, you know, and Fee will enjoy it. So there's no incentive.
I do, Fiona.
You know.
Actually quite funny.
Yeah, Sam, are you done shopping yet? I guess he's still shopping.
Well, I mean, I can talk for a bit.
Yeah, if in case you wanted your own position, your own like.
Well, I mean, most of it. When I heard that he was just, you know, so for weeks prior, I had been really, really worried. Just my honest worry, and this kind of surprised me. My worry was he was going to stab Pew in the chest. I'll be honest.
That's a really serious worry. Pew was worried about he was going to hit him while we were there, which I know that kind of stress. It's no.
All Pew would have to do is spit at him. That guy is so skinny that if he spat at him, it'd be the same as if he shot me with his Ruger. No, I'm not pulling any punches. Dear God, like, do a push-up once, just once, and a squat once. The guy has no ass. Like, what is going on here?
For those who don't know, Reds is like anorexic thin. He's really, really thin. Like, you have to like do a double take.
But I mean, essentially, the you know, for me, it wasn't a huge surprise, and I sort of kept my distance. But, you know, there's a big difference between being actively antisocial and actively a dick than being sort of standoffish. And, I mean, I don't know why he showed up. We didn't need him. We didn't need his money. We didn't need him to stay in a room. We didn't need the van that he ended up renting. We had plenty of other cars. I'm just at a loss. Like we don't need him.
Well, again, what did it for me was the first night when I'm there with Hannah, and I knock on the door. I do the Sheldon, Red, because I've been joking with him for years because of the answered prayer argument thing. He owes me a good Hummer and a couple $1,000s. I wanted to call him out on that, but playful. We're joking around here, to be quite honest. And if that needs to be spelled out for anybody, then I suggest that they go hold their head underwater until they stop moving. But I just wanted to meet Red. And had he opened the door and been, hey, Cap, you know what? It's nice to meet you, but it's been a really long day. Let's hang out in the morning. I've been, yeah, cool, Red. You're a lot skinnier than I thought you'd be, but cool. And left it at that, it would have been fine. But the fact that he opened the door, kind of takes one glance at me, then he turns to Hannah and says, you're sleeping on the couch tonight. And he slams the door on both of our faces.
I don't want to believe that.
That is not grieving. Please, red letter or fucking Redline supporters, please tell me how that is grieving in any possible way, shape, or form. Please.
I actually didn't hear that part while we were on the trip. This is new, and that Hannah, I'm sure, is watching. Hannah, that kind of behavior is one step away from fucking hitting you. Get out of there as fast as you can. Just don't. I know too many women who have been in relationships that got physical, and it's not okay. And it's not your fault. Just get the hell out of there. Luckily, you live in a different state. That helps. Get the fuck out of there. Don't do what some of us are doing and just cut him off completely. Like, that is no longer anything you need to ever deal with.
Yeah, and Hannah, you live in New York fucking City. Need I say more? You can do a lot better. Probably.
You are so much stronger.
You can find a guy with an actual ass.
But I mean, all kidding aside, you don't do that. That's not grieving. That is not grieving. That's being a dick. And to find out that, it wasn't even joking either, because you can tell when somebody's joking. And I understand that there are jokes that tend to be a little tone deaf, whatever. But he was not joking. And then when I found out that she actually ended up sleeping on the goddamn floor because she had too much humility to disturb Fiona while she was sleeping on the couch. Fuck you, dude.
Honestly, if I did not know that until later, I would have gone up there then. The minute I heard it, like, no, you're gonna make Hannah sleep on. No, you're not. I will bring her to our room first. She can sleep in, she can have full on couch.
I did
quiet.
I did not know about this burger thing. Driving up 45 minutes for some shit poor burger.
45 minutes to get there, and then we were there for
I didn't know that.
hour. And he didn't tell anyone. Maybe Hannah, I'm not sure. Apparently, what she understood was a bit fuzzy. I don't think she knew that it was in fucking San Francisco, but it was awful. It was not pleasant going there. It made
the food was okay. The food was okay.
It was just not okay. Well, yours was undercooked, but that was the lesser of the issue. Yeah. It was like taking this there without.
I would have liked to talk to was the guy Greater Sapien that Red wanted to meet. Went up to with him, but Red was talking flat Earth to him the whole time, and there anybody would try to cut in, he would give them like a 2-word answer and ignore them. Idiot.
Oh, so you mean he was selective with who he wanted to actually discuss?
Oh, he was talking. He was redline to this guy. He's the guy we know on YouTube talking about flat Earth, but everyone else he would just ignore them.
Yeah, well, right. It was you, Kevin, Jackie, myself, and who was it? Heike, I think, at the one table, and then it's him and what's his face at the other. Like, what? Huh?
Wait, hang on. Let me get this straight. So he went to meet Greater Sapien at this burger place, right?
45 minutes from our hotel down in San Francisco.
You know who told him that guy existed?
You did?
Yeah, this guy. He didn't know who Greater Sapien was before April.
Can I make a suggestion? Can we talk
Go
about
for it, Cliff.
Jade and the really cool stuff we did?
Oh, we're getting there. We're getting there. I want to get everyone. I want to empty out the barrels. I want everyone to have no ammo left, and it's nothing but that good, happy goodness left. But I think we still got maybe a little bit to go.
No, but see, somebody did mention in the live stream that we should talk about the happy. We're going to get to the happy because Saturday I laughed so fucking hard with Sam and Drag and we had the best fucking time ever. So we all have a lot of positive stories that came out of this.
Oh,
we
absolutely.
We need to address the elephant in the room before we can move
Yeah.
towards.
Well, also, like, Cap completely ruined some Japanese girl's Instagram photo. It was legendary. We can get to it, but it was absolutely legendary.
Yeah, I want, for anyone who like is watching and might have to go later, I have to go in like a half hour, but I don't want people to get the impression that this trip was entirely miserable. If it wasn't for Redline, it literally would have been fucking perfect.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's see. Anyone have Xavier? You haven't had a chance to speak. Do you have anything you want to share, or are you good?
No, I did. No, I did. I was the one who called out the deal because that's the thing that pissed me off the most. Was because that's like a major sign of abusive relationship.
I mean,
if I could just
I mentioned if I may quickly, Fiona, before you go, I mentioned before the show started that I would never ask my wife to sleep on the couch or anywhere but our bed. If I'm mad, I leave our bed, or vice versa. We do not ask each other to do it. That is not okay. So I did not know that. That pisses me off more.
Yeah.
I'm more pissed that Hana would be okay with it because Hana. I mean, when we met in New York, she was like this strong woman. Like she was like commanding and knew all about this place. And it seems like I hope I'm wrong. Like Reds has taken some of that out of her.
No, but JD, it was part of the deal of that she had to listen to basically everything that he said. Otherwise, he would have
a fucking meltdown.
Worse. Yeah.
See, here's the thing, guys, and I didn't know about this burger story. He says he's not to go up there to meet friends or to talk to anybody or whatever. He's just there to grieve. Why the fuck is he driving people 45 minutes out of the way? Day one, when everybody's exhausted, to go meet up with somebody to talk flat Earth about. That seems like a juicy contradiction to me. I'm just saying.
It's because of communication failure. We're having to go to him through Hana. We couldn't talk to him directly. Hana says he wants to take us to Super Duper. We're like, at this point, I mean, this is still first day, so we don't really get just how fucking piece of shit awful he is. So we're just like, all right, I guess he's still in the mood, but he's going to drive. Maybe he's cooling down. But instead, he drives us 45 minutes to some fucking place in San Francisco.
So he can meet up with somebody and be their friend.
Exactly. Meanwhile, Fiona's at Wendy's, like, a minute away. Like,
there's a Wendy's a mile down the street.
Yeah, we walked to Wendy's.
I fucking walked to it. It's so fucking close.
We walked back. And
if I had known, if any of us had, if
our cold food when we got back.
I swear, I'm sure Kevin will back me off. If Kevin and Jackie had known that this was 45 minutes away, we're going to be there for 3 hours total up to the drive back, I don't think we would have gone. We would have gone to Wendy's, then go back with Fiona and Cliff and chatted some more.
Well, Jackie was actually quite, I think she was quite surprised. She didn't know how far away it was either. She didn't want to go that far.
All right, so again, for those who are trying to troll the comments section, who are here to just support Red because he can he chose to do this to us, yet he was selective in who he wanted to act this way towards. Oh, I'm not there to make friends. Oh, but by the way, I'm not going to tell anybody, but we're going to drive 45 minutes to some butthole burger place in downtown day one when everybody's exhausted so I can meet up with somebody and hang out and talk about the obvious. Just saying. Does that not seem like a little bit of a contradiction?
The more important thing was the burrito I took you down to in the mission better than the burger? That's what's important to me in the story. I'm just kidding.
Sam and I had the worst farts the entire fucking trip. It was just nonstop.
It was bad. And Xavier too, but that's because he eats everything.
No, wait, better question, Sam. Would I have finished it by the time you finished the conversation?
All right.
You would have finished 2 of them.
Like I said, I want to make sure everyone's gun is unloaded. So anybody got anything left?
So here, I'm gonna. I think the best way to end this is, and unfortunately she's not here right now. Deidre summed it up best. Red is a keyboard warrior. I watched a few minutes of his live stream. It's the same old Red, just being a blowhard shit talker. But in real life, when somebody actually calls him out on his shit, the same way he calls out people online, he had his tail between his legs.
Oh yeah, you mentioned he was meek in front of you once you shut him down. He started.
Now I will give him.
You mentioned slumped shoulders and kind of like recoiling a little bit.
I will give him the benefit of the doubt because I told him my 3 conditions of things that he needed to do just to begin the process of digging himself out of the hole that he had dug himself into. Was he needed to apologize to Cliff because Cliff did not deserve to be treated like that. Bottom line, because it's Cliff. Number 2, he needed to apologize to JD's wife and actually introduce himself. Sounds like he did that. Whether or not they accepted that was up to
Oh
them.
no, he didn't apologize.
But
he introduced himself. He got hacked.
but he sort of he in his own mind he did what he thought he needed to do. The number 3, I wanted to introduce him just to my girlfriend, which he still didn't get done, but he's 2 for 3 in my head, so that's okay. But he is a keyboard warrior. This posturing, dropping F-bombs, sailor mouth, blowhard on the internet. You can knock him over with a flick of your pinky. That's the type of dude he is. He is a boy. He's not a man. He can surround himself with expensive toys. He can buy cameras and drive fast cars, whatever. He is a child. That is coming from me, the biggest child in the room. Red is a child. Immature child. Bottom line. Keyboard warrior. Deidre said it best. Let's move on to the fun side of news.
Well, before we wrap up, he's also a dumbass. He paid. I'm not kidding. He paid $700 for a van for like 4 days.
Yeah, because he canceled the reservation because he didn't want to.
He canceled the reservation. Hana explained not to do that. He fucking canceled anyway. And when he got there, like, why does it cost so much? Because you don't have a reservation, you idiot. And I'm sure they must have taken a brick and smacked him upside the head, like they knew it wouldn't do any damage. Fucking moron. Like I spent $300 for a full size for 2.5 weeks. That's how dumb he is.
It's not only that. It's the fact that he was setting himself as the designated driver with the big van, despite not even wanting to be there.
Yeah, I mean,
that's the difficulty I had, because how can you be the designated driver for the van, but you want everybody to stay away from you? That was difficult. And I mean, yes, you could say, well, even although the way I felt, I was still willing to do all of this for you lot, and I'm sure that's how you will rationalize it. But he was also actively asking people to be told to stay away from him. So what do you do? And you're damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't.
Right, but you can't tell people to stay away from him, then to take a bunch of people up with him so he can meet some I don't even want to call him an anti-flat earther. Let's just call him a regular, educated human fucking being in America who doesn't believe that the earth is fucking flat. Yeah. You could have the same conversation with any one of us about the same fucking thing, that the earth is clearly a spheroid. But no, he chose to, fuck all you guys, but I want to drive up and meet this one guy. You guys can happen to come along with us.
I would have been fine. I would have been fine with him doing it, except that he didn't tell us that he was doing it. So we're just along for the ride without knowing it.
But the difficulty was that for anything like that, Pew wouldn't be able to go. So somebody would have to stay behind with Pew. Me and Cliff did, because I was desperate for a Wendy's anyway. But that was a real problem we were going to have. Just because of this. Oh.
Let's talk about the fun times now.
Yeah, I'm gonna get the last word though. I wish that we had wrapped it up in the first fucking day. Like I can only say this from hindsight because we didn't know how bad it was gonna get. But I wish Hana just said, when he said, sleep on the couch, he would have said, go fuck yourself, kicked him in the balls, thrown him down the stairs, watch his crippled, pathetic, bony body snap in a couple places as we point and laugh at the moron like, oh, you thought you were going to ruin Jade's funeral? No, you're not ruining Jade's funeral. You're going to take your limp, leg, arm, broken body, crawl in that 700 fucktard van of yours. You're going to drive the fuck away. You're going to go back the fuck home, you piece of shit. Ruining Jade's funeral for good fucking people, you piece of shit. This is what you get. You get to crawl to your fucking little $700 van you paid too much for, you dumb fuck. You get the fuck out of here. You get the fuck out now, or we don't care. Call the cops. We will mud stomp your fucking ass. And that's what we should have done on day one.
And here's the thing. When I confronted him on the balcony, he was kind of grasping at straws. And I know that the sort of mental manipulation. I've been there. I've seen it. I've experienced it. But he was just trying to grasp me at straws, and finally he broke down and said, "You know what? I should just go home." I said, "You know what? You do you." What did he expect? That I was going to beg and plead? Like, "No, Red, please stay. Have a second chance." Like, no, dude. You've shown your true colors. You do you. If you want to stay, that's on you. If you want to leave, that's on you. We will get by with or without you. You are not going to drag us down. He was an anchor with a really long chain tied to it, and we were tied at the very end of this really tall chain, and he was just dragging us down. That's what it was. And he needed to hear from somebody that, dude, we don't give a fuck what you do at this point. We're not going to sit and beg and plead and kiss your ass to stay for what should be a memorial for us all to have a good time together. Which we did end up having, by the way. There is a silver lining to this. There's some absolutely hilarious moments. This is probably one of the best vacations I've ever had. Don't get me wrong. I can't wait to go down the roster and hear everybody's like side of things. There's some hilarious moments. But
Jade would have wanted us all to have a good time. She
Right.
wouldn't have wanted us to be mopey and miserable. She would have wanted us to celebrate our life, not mourn our death.
And I told him that for him to use Jade's passing as an excuse for this type of fucktardery he was acting like, I told him was a disgrace to Jade. Because that's not mourning. Especially
fact it was a lie.
about wanting to meet up with somebody. That's not mourning. That's just you being a dick to people who you should.
Yeah.
As far as I was concerned, we've been cool. No reason to treat us that way.
He used Jade as an excuse later when he was like, giving his half-heart apologies. And we see through the bullshit. Like, no, because you were mostly upset just because Pew was there, or that I was in the room, or that, someone who had, didn't side with you when Hana broke up with you the first time for you being a psycho.
Well, what he saw is that I can do more than one pull-up, so he stayed away from me.
Yeah, just for those who don't know, Sam is in good shape. Obviously,
Sam can do 1.5 pull-ups.
You kind of
I can 1.5. The
you need
is
a touch of stamina. You need a touch of stamina to do jiu-jitsu. Just a little bit.
But no, I mean, I think like the thing that I find really funny about a lot of this is that I had conversations with him and I had just one proviso, which was, hey, don't get into a fight at the hotel, like behave yourself. And he's the same guy who's threatening to call the police. And for those that don't know, I was able to work a connection to get, very close connection to get us better rooms at the hotel. And I profusely thank that person. And it's to me, it's just, that would be really uncomfortable.
It was a beautiful hotel.
That would be my mom.
Thank your mom. Thank your mom for me, because that was an excellent hotel.
Yes, please do thank your mom. Pass that on.
The Hyatt is the Hyatt in Belmont. It's 400.
Yeah, it was really excellent. It's a long-term stay.
You're gonna have to pay more than we paid. It's an expensive place, but man, it's beautiful.
It's a great
I must
hotel.
admit, the first night when I go in, I just looked and there's nothing there and there's no food and there's nothing. I was like, oh, where has Sam can put us?
Here, Cap, you missing this? Yeah, you missing it? Okay, yeah, I think we're kind of done. I think we've wrapped up we've all got that out of our system. I'm not saying we're not going to revisit this sometime, because let's face it, I'm sure they'll eventually have a response. Let's go back and forth, like things in our community tend to do. Whether we want to entertain that is kind of that's an individual thing. But,
well, JD, I've revised my my policy of whether Red can come to the San Diego meetup, and the only condition that he can is that I will pay for a jiu-jitsu class, and he will get to do a guest class, and I get to roll with him every round.
Get the fuck out.
Oh, with those long of limbs.
Or give it an arm bar. Give an arm bar and not quite notice that he's tapping.
I prefer leg locks, but
yeah,
he's got a lot of leg.
Yeah, guys, can I just say something?
Go ahead.
The finishing one. I would like to think that there is some way back from this. I really would like to think that, and that it can all be sorted out. And we've all done the behind the scenes stuff often enough to know that hasn't worked before. I don't know if this will actually have helped in any way, shape, or form to get us back to the way it used to be. But if it makes them actually think that's the one thing I would hope to achieve from this. That he stops and actually thinks about how outrageous his behaviour was and how outrageous it was that everybody else was supposed to fit in around him because he wanted to be a dick.
Yeah.
Well, I think the only thing that's going to solidify it is, and I hate to say this, but it's just the plain truth, is Hana breaks up with him. And he realizes there's actually consequences to acting like a shithead. Because, like, clearly with his attitude towards money, with his attitude towards treating other people in this type of a situation, he was coddled in some way in life. And he just doesn't know how to take responsibility and act like an adult. And
sounds like our president.
Yeah, it's honestly a lot like our president in that sense. But I mean, like, in all seriousness, and if people disagree with that, like, that's just me armchair psychologizing. Like, fuck it, you know, like, I've been in therapy before, so I'm no expert, no Zen master.
And the thing is, I said this before when on air, Sam and I had a bit of a disagreement, less than a week before we went, and it followed on for something we fell about before. And it was a shadow in the back of my mind. I thought, oh, shit, well, maybe it's going to be a problem, but who knows? We'll see what happens. And when it came around, when Sam turned up, I walked towards him. I held my hand out to say hi, and he gave my hand a good shake and said, "Hey, Clef, how's it going? How's you doing?" That kind of thing. Instantly, I felt fantastic. No doubt in my mind, and that's what grown-ups do. They say, for the good of everybody and for the person I'm going to shake hands with, that, fuck that stuff in before, that's done with. Here's the way it's going to go down. And that was fucking awesome. And I can't thank Sam enough for that. Stop crying, Sam.
That is out adult.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Before you accuse me of being an adult, I named a pigeon in one of the restaurants we were in, Rodrigo. So, Rodrigo, the ballsiest pigeon in the land.
So anyway, last words. Assuming everyone's done their full. My biggest hope. We've talked to Hana like little bits and pieces, but she's never said she's pregnant with it. I do hope that's the first thing she does is get out of that. It's toxic. It's bad. Get out of it. You'll do better. Trust me. You're young. There's a lot better out there. Maybe not in New York. New York's successful. Once you move out of New York, better people out there. You don't need to deal with shit like that, and you can't fix it. That's the important. You can't fix that. We were speculating during the trip that maybe borderline personality disorder. In fact, I wasn't the first person to think of it. Several people were like that sounds that's
100%. I will bet my paycheck. And again, it's a
the way he kept needing Hana to be there, like he's a little child pulling on her skirt, on mommy's skirt, like, come, I need your attention. I need your help, save me. Why aren't you paying attention to me? Don't hang with those people I don't like. Come back to me. Like, just childish bullshit like that. That reeks of borderline personality.
And I really wanted to hang out more with Hana, too, because the one time I actually got to hang out with her was when we played Cards Against Humanity, and she was fun as fuck.
I wish I had missed that. That sounded like fun.
And there was a time where... this is going to piss off Red to no end once his little followers find out what happened. Myself, Deidre, and Hana may have locked ourselves in a room and had some passionate bedtime together while everybody else was in the living room listening to the sloppy mess that was going on. That was pretty hot.
Well, there is a picture of me, Deidre, Jackie.
Before you finish that sentence, are we good? Have we gotten out of our system?
I'm good. No, I don't even want to say that. No, I'm good. I'm good.
So we are really good. We're Xavier?
I'm good.
Everyone?
Yeah.
I would just like to say that Drag, Xavier, and Sam are like three of the coolest dudes that I've ever met. And Jade, you come close.
As far as like this Red Up, we're going to put a pin in it because there's some people who were there who didn't have a chance to speak. And if they come in and do, they are free to if they wish.
Can I just say that Captain is one of the fattest dudes I've ever met?
Oh, piss off, Fifi.
Oh, he's a fat little fucker. Isn't that what he said?
Oh my God! Just Fiona, oh God, Cam, you're so fucking fat. It's like, I'm
Don't
not
forget the
fat.
wedgie.
Yeah, there was also
For
the
those here
moment
watching for the
where
drama, drama's over. Now's the part where we're talking about how awesome the funeral was.
we were at the wake, and I was really tired, so I went to take a nap on the lady's couch, and I'm sitting next to what was her name? Cap's girlfriend. We're gonna refer to her Mrs. Cap, let's say.
Yep, Mrs. Cap.
Mrs. Cap. us sitting next to her, and I was about to fall asleep, and I start hearing them fat shame the shit out of Cap, and I think that's the proper verbiage, right, Cap?
Yes, I was fat. I'm not fat though, damn it.
But
I'm not fat.
He sat on an exercise ball, and I told him he looked like the number 8.
But I'm about to fall asleep, and I'm just listening to this conversation. They're like, "You should be built like Sam." I'm like, "Okay, now I'm gonna fall asleep. Like, this is not part of a thing I want to be a part of."
So the fun is like Sam and I were the perfect combination of like slightly not hungover, but we've been drinking, lack of sleep, and fatigue, and just tired of dealing with the drama that everything was just existentially getting more and more hilarious the more delirious we got. And it was just the funniest thing. Like the photo bombing in Alcatraz was hilarious with those fucking girls. The Rodrigo, the freaking crime lord pigeon, was hilarious. The fucking sea lions. Like, here's Sam. Sam was just like, "Hey guys, I really want to go see the sea lions." Like, okay, we're gonna go. We're making some rounds, dude. Guys, I really want to see the sea lions. And we go and we're watching these sea lions, and you have fucking Shani on one fucking platform all to herself, just well, all the others were just. I can't even describe what we were watching, but it was hilarious.
They get into these random just like screaming matches and turf wars. Are we going to glaze over the fact that you ruined some Instagram photo for these two Japanese chicks by pretending to take a shit in the background of their photo?
So here's the thing with Alcatraz is we were in the laundry room and everything's been cleared out. So it's just like an empty space. And we're walking around. My girlfriend, when we go anywhere, my girlfriend stops and reads everything to detail. So you have to have a lot of patience with her because she's not the type of person that goes into like any type of store for 5 minutes in and out. She will sit and read every little thing. Oh, there's something written on a column. I'm going to read everything here. I love her to death. I find it endearing. But Sam and I, it's like, okay, here's this big empty room. That's cool. But I see these two Japanese girls, pretty little things, doing these model poses in front of broken glass. And I look at Sam's like, dude, Sam, we got to do something. We got to do something funny. We got to do something funny. And because this was essentially stripped down to like an empty warehouse, there were some broken toilets just up against the wall. So there was 3 on a wall. So Sam and I both cop a squat, and we're pretending to take a dookie, and my girlfriend takes a picture. And this husband and wife walk by, and the wife is like, "Oh, honey, get in there." So the guy comes up, some guy we don't even know, and just cops a squat with the center bowl. And wife takes a picture. And she's like, "Oh, you guys should hold hands." I'm like, "Yeah, damn right we should." So I extend my hand, and he's all, "No, I'm not holding your hand." It's like, oh. So, we're catching up to these girls, and again, there's like 2 steps that lead up to just a fucking column. It's just a support column, a concrete support column, and these girls are doing these fucking poses on a fucking concrete column, and in the background, there's 3 more toilets just in the background. So I said, "Sam, I got this." So I do my intentional fat white American waddle up to these toilets, and I unbuckle my britches a little bit and drop trout just a little
or
bit.
Or as you call it, walking.
Yeah. So I squat down just in frame of these girls, and I didn't see what happened. Sam saw it, but next thing I know, they're like running in the opposite direction, which predatory sense kicks in. I see prey. Prey is running. Predator has to pursue. So I tell Sam, we're going after them. We're just going to follow them and be in every shot. And my girlfriend's like, "Okay, guys, let's go. I'll catch up with you guys." So Sam and I start following these 2 chicks, hoping that they'll take more shots. And it took us a second to catch up to them. And they stopped taking pictures. And it's to the point where it's like, this isn't funny anymore. Let's go get my girlfriend because we're hungry. And he's like, "Yeah, okay." So it was still hilarious, though.
Well, just to give you an illustration of how perverted the captain is here, this is
Hey,
a
that's my
39, and you can imagine some little child nearby saying, "Mummy, why is that man grinding with a steel seal statue?"
well, because I thought it was Shani. Number one, I wanted to know what it was like to have sex with Shani. That was the closest way. That was the closest I could get.
There is a picture that exists of me and Deidre and Hannah and Jackie all in the one bed. And none of you guys saw that actually happen. You all missed it. Na, 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 na.
We also we as a group, me, Cap, Mrs. Cap, JD, Mrs. JD. Well, I guess that would be just Mrs. D. But no, there is already a Mrs. D. I'm getting caught in the weeds here. We got a couple of Irish coffees. One that was really good, one that was kind of mediocre. And we went and we ended up going to, what was it, Madame Tussauds wax museum, which was great. We took
that
very
was
inappropriate photos. Tell them about the Tommy Hall.
Oh my God, the Tommy Hall. Sorry, but Deidre actually got some loss of subscribers and downvotes to that one. So if you haven't seen the video, just somebody find it and link it to the live chat to me trying to seek out Tommy Hall in San Francisco. I don't think anybody can put it into funny enough words or describe it funny enough to do it justice. Just link the video because it was fucking hilarious.
So I just found out that King Steve weighed in, and it's funny.
Oh, the angry prospector. He weighed in. That's nice.
He stands
Dollar Store Gandalf.
I'm sure he watched the whole broadcast before commenting. Yeah, he stands by Reds 100%. Reds was just trying to be left alone, and us.
I have one thing I want to say. I have to leave for class soon, but if you're watching, I have one thing I want to say to you. You were approached by Jackie and several other people when the fundraiser was going on for Jade, and you said you were going to acknowledge it on your show. You were going to link it in the description. You told her you were going to do a whole episode about her. You didn't do jack shit. You don't give a fuck about Jade. You never did. You just like to hide behind her name. Fuck you.
Yeah, Red just wanted to be left alone, but he wanted to drive 45 minutes and meet up with a fellow believer in a bald earth and have his girlfriend sleep on the couch. Yes, that's fitting, buddy. Go fuck yourself. We never met. I've never spoken to you, but you go fuck yourself, please. Sideways.
Yeah, Steve, Reds made his girlfriend sleep on the floor for daring to answer the door. You want to defend that? You go right ahead.
Please. I dare you, McRae. Please. Wait till you get a taste of Osimo when he gets fired up, sir. You will lose this one. Trust me, sweetie.
Well, no,
you will lose this battle.
I mean, everyone on the trip has this.
Cared so much about Jade that he, could write a couple of random lines in a poorly worded eulogy. I mean, that to me screams care, and
Yeah, Steve, everyone on this trip has this story, has their own version of what a big asshole he was during the trip. There is not one person you will find who was on this trip who's like, oh yeah, he was great, he's just misunderstood. Not a fucking one. And we're talking like, what, 18 of us from online came there? Not a one of them.
So here's
he's really great. Sailor Jerry for him.
So here's
some rum and some Coke.
The most so two disappointing things that happened on this trip. We all collectively, myself, the Wolf Pack is what I'm going to refer to. We all wanted to take a shit in Red's toilet and just leave. Instead, we had to do it in Sam's bathroom. Sorry.
Oh yeah, we were planning that shit on the entire drive up.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but you know how there was something that I said I wasn't actually sort of going to bring up. Can we thank Steve McRae for this one? If Steve is going to defend this. Now, it has been promised the money will be returned. However, I want to point out that I was left to check out on Tuesday because the room was in my name and because I was last leaving with Cliff.
And then
not everybody paid up their money. I scraped together enough dollars so that I could actually check out and get to the airport. Now, offering me the money 2 weeks down the line, that's great. But here's the problem. That doesn't help when it comes to checking out of the hotel. And on the day that you're heading for the airport, that's not the day to tell me.
Yeah, that's kind of like how rent's due on the first. But anyways.
So the other thing that
let Steve defend that.
Oh, that's fine. Again. I'm impartial to King Steve because I never talked.
I don't blame him. Steve stands behind Reds and his 20,000 subscribers that help him make money. I understand.
Right. So, second thing I was disappointed in was when I was having my patio talk, or the balcony talk with Red. Red said, "Well, how would you like it if I barged into your room?" I said, "Buddy, I would have invited you in." He's like, "Oh, you're joking." It's like, "Well, I'm kind of half serious. It wouldn't bother me." So when I heard that Red was going around making his apologies, I thought, dude, this is it. This is the opportunity. I'm going to give Red the opportunity. And I was standing in front of everybody. I quickly got all my clothes off and ran into my room and waited like Fiona waiting for Prince Charming. I was waiting for it.
Really literally, when we heard he was coming up to the room, he didn't actually come in. He stayed outside. But Cap was like, "It's happening!" And he just starts like struggling to take his shirt off. Yeah, it was funny.
Not only that, I think two people managed to catch us a split moment, a second.
You only could have got it clothes off faster if he was Hulk Hoganing the damn things.
So, just saying, I sat and waited in bed with bated breath for Red, for him to come up, and I was assuming he was gonna be like, "Hey, where's Osmo?" Somebody would have said, "Oh, he's in the room."
You mean the only time that
set it
entire
up
weekend, even though his girlfriend was there, that someone waited in bed for him? Hell. All right, no one else? Okay, fine.
So just saying, he had the opportunity to do to me what apparently I did to him. I wanted it to happen. Ooh, gave me a little semi-thinking about it. Not really. But yeah, I did frantically take off my clothes, and I was wearing buttons. When I'm on vacation, it's Hawaiian shirt, Osmo. Frantically getting my clothes off and running, and then I'm sitting there waiting. It's like, dude, what the fuck is taking so long? And I kind of peek out. I was like, dude, guys, what the fuck? Those are the two things that disappointed me on this trip.
You know what disappointed me was I kept running out of juice because Cap kept stealing it. Him and his girlfriend kept stealing my vape.
Well, because it was delicious.
I know it tastes like, well, my wife has a good one. She had the peanut butter and Jesus with her. Yes, that's what it's called.
No, I didn't. I had the Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Oh, that's right. Never mind. I'm sorry, I'm wrong. She had Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
So, anyways, the drive up,
or hot box.
The drive up was hilarious. So, driving up, we had the convoy, and anybody who's made the drive to San Francisco, I've never done this drive before, but there's a point once you pass Six Flags on the 5 where it's just nothing. There is literally nothing but just fields. It's the most boring drive. Nothing entertaining. Occasionally you might see an outhouse. So, I'm just driving as fast as I can because I just want to get to this fucking place. So there was a point where a bunch of bugs just hit my car. And, I just used the windshield wipers to just clean up the ickies. And apparently it blew back and hit Sam's car. And I didn't do it on purpose. Just, when you're going 95 and bugs hit you and you use the wipers, you're going to get some spray. So this is during the live stream. So I'm thinking, okay, I got a reaction out of them. I see this bitch cut them off. And this bitch is now behind me. So I'm like, oh, that drives me nuts. Use the fucking blinker. So I immediately start hitting her with my windshield wipers and kind of slowing her down, like slowing my car down and kind of pinning her between trucks. So I was just trolling with this bitch. And it's not called road rage. It's called street justice. Remember that. So that happened. Then we went to the country store. That was fun. They had Drag's family seasoning there, the bullshit or whatever. I got some blue barrels that I can stack for a living. That was fun. My girlfriend takes entirely too long in the bathroom always. Sam and I bought a couple beers and we got Drag a Miller High Life because I'm assuming that's what he drinks. But the car ride was hilarious
because we don't want to be. I mean, we didn't want to be racially insensitive, so we've got him a 40.
Right. We had to get him a 40. So it was hilarious. We got along swimmingly. It was fun. Night one was, fun. We all turned in. We had to get up early, which sucked because Drag, Sam, Xavier, and I were just up drinking all night to see who'd be the last man standing was. That was fun. Memorial was beautiful. We ended up going to a great fish market, like a fish house. Great food.
Yes, it was.
Great. Yeah, fucking Xavier slammed down like 4 plates and ended up blowing up Sam's toilet afterwards.
It's how much Xavier spent. I think it was $70 on just Xavier's meal alone.
Right, $70.
$70. There's a 0 there, guys. 70.
We're back at the room.
That's how much I spent on my meal and the wife's meal, and we fucking paid for Sam.
And I told the G-Man, I was like, oh, JD's paying? Oh, shit.
No, we'll say.
Yeah, I got to tell Sam the story of what G-Man did when I bought him a meal, and Sam's like, I'm not going to do that.
Well, I was
buying, I snapped my fingers and ordered another round.
Oh.
But then there was a smell that came from Sam's room that I cannot describe.
It's the smell of the Jew.
No, it was a Jew smell. It was a funk that I've yet to identify. But
it was
the
like
smell was ungodly.
The smell of Tel Aviv.
It was only like the rest of the house or the room smelled great, but the moment you cross the doors into Sam's world, it's like you were hit in the nose with a fucking fog of stink that I cannot describe. It was awful. I don't know what he was doing in there. But it was pretty fucking awful.
The veil.
You're welcome, Sam.
What is it smelled?
You're welcome, Sam.
Does Sam's fat effluent sound smell different to everybody else's then?
It smelled like Kid Rock butt fucked in there for an hour. And then they had the concert.
And then there was the time where my girlfriend and JD's wife it looked like if they meet again, they are fucking each other. It's happening.
I gave a bit of a laugh at the fire pit, the barbecue thing where I pulled a meme with a story.
Oh, the thug life, yes.
Yeah, I'll post that video up there eventually when I get the full footage sorted.
Oh. On that note, if this gets around to King Steve, hey, King Steve, I fucked her first. Probably better than you.
Oh, my God.
I've got that recorded too.
Yeah.
You might have seen my initials somewhere in the back, but it's in there. It's just like it's like a gum wall where you're done with your gum, you just kind of stick it on the wall. Mine's the furthest back, buddy.
Yeah, see, Cap was smart enough to leave afterwards. Steve's like, I guess I'll move in. This is the best ever.
Can I also mention one thing here? Jackie's not in the room.
You didn't do it, did you? Because that's just no.
Jackie's not in the room, but I would have mentioned it if she was in the room anyway. Kevin was telling the truth. When you hug Jackie, if you squeeze her tight, she squeaks.
Yeah, she's not kidding. She does. It's adorable.
Yeah. Jackie's the squeaky toy.
Yeah, Jackie is a little bit. She has a little bit of social anxiety. When she warms up, she just. If it's like me, she just keeps poking the arm like he's real, Kevin. He's real. She's a little poking. Every once in a while, the whole trip, she just walk every once in a while. She stop what she was doing. You go, hey.
Oh, she's in a live chat saying, "Oh no."
Oh, the best thing is like she is online with puppies. You do it in person, and you have her rapt attention for as long as you want it. You happy to see you just go puppies playing in a pond.
Sam almost cheated in goddamn Cards Against Humanity with that card.
I think he lost that one though, didn't he?
Like our tax code, it's not cheating if it's within the law.
Yeah.
And
By
yes,
the way,
I'm Jewish, and yes, I made that joke.
I also managed to climb Captain when he arrived. Poor guy. I don't think his back will ever be the same.
So it turns out everyone likes Lafroig. I did not expect that. Everyone I gave it to.
No. I did not like Lefroy because it tastes just as bad as how I remember it. Like fucking.
I'm sorry, I forgot to say everyone with a penis on the trip liked Lefroy.
Like post Dennis cases. I could have been sucking on a 9-volt battery and gotten the same.
Apart from one fat fucking San Diego, everybody loved it. All right.
Now, when it came to Lefroy, I gave
Cliff didn't like it too.
Yeah, I gave it a try, and it was okay.
Well, you're not a drinker, period. So I gave you martini too, and you also didn't like that either, which is fine. Yeah, it's.
Yeah. Now I tried the Lefroy, and it was okay, but there was no way I was going to get the third sip without going over what I without getting drunk. I have a low tolerance for alcohol.
I don't think your tolerance can be
higher than Pew.
A few sips, but yeah. Anyway, yeah, I was.
Pew is a 2-beer queer.
I was going around the campfire. I'd gotten a bottle at the local Safeway, good price too, and
Safeway was a lifesaver, by the way.
Awesome. Just kept going around like,
I don't know what it was.
Oh look! Oh, sorry. Look at the Fabio, the bragging mother. You 18-year you suck.
Oh, Aberfeldy.
Fuck you.
Aberfeldy.
Highland, you go with fucking Highland? No, Isla. The Isla's where it's at.
No, Highland, sir. It's all about the Highland.
Oh, Highland.
Nobody wants to be sucking on a 9-volt battery for jollies. That's me.
I like to drink campfire. I like my campfire in liquid form.
No, that's not campfire. That's fucking liquid ass that you can buy on $10.
Talking about liquid asses. Should we bring up the epic wedgie?
Oh
yes.
So here's Fiona. Now some of you might not know this, but Fiona is a bit of a party girl. She wears a thong. So she bent over and I saw that little Scottish booty and it's like, oh man, look at that booty. And I saw this tag just giving me the middle finger. And she kept bending over and I kept seeing this fucking tag giving me the middle finger. It's like, you know what? I'm going to get it. And I got that tag.
That's not the epic wedgie we're talking about.
That is the epic wedgie
is it?
story. So we're going to move on.
No, Cap.
We're moving on.
So Captain is in the room and I just give him a little mild wedgie, just a really mild wedgie, because he bent over and his jeans are hanging, or his shorts are hanging so low, it was ridiculous. So I just gave a little tug in his boxers. So Hannah grabs him and gives an even bigger tug. And the Pew grabbed him, put his whole weight, and we just heard rip. Captain made the same sound as Jackie when she squeaks. And then he walks off to the bathroom and he comes back with these boxer shorts that are ripped to shreds. And Pew got them as a souvenir, and we actually have a photograph of them.
Oh man. I missed it.
Let me tell you what really happened. None of that happened.
It did so.
Hey, that reminds me. I saw
that is a lie.
Someone's tag.
I'm gonna
Whose tag was that, Cap? Whose tag did you have a picture of?
Oh, I have Fiona's tag. It's mine forever. It's next to the feather from Rodrigo, the pigeon crime lord of San Francisco.
Stole my tag.
But did it win Best Opposite Gender?
Oh God, yes. It did win Best Opposite Gender.
So, for those of you in and around the San Francisco area, the Buena Vista, fucking tasty Irish coffee. You gotta admit, Cap, that was tasty stuff.
I can make better.
I will. When we come out for San Diego trip, I'm gonna put that to the test.
You should. Whatever you think you've had, I can make better.
Also, Jade and his wife treated me to my first burrito, which was very, very nice.
Oh yeah, we took him to also Drago or something. Something it's like ASA something. It was just a local place in San Jose. The wife and I took Cliff to the local Egyptian museum. It's got a weird name, but apparently it's the largest collection of like ancient Egypt in the U.S. And it might have been the world. I have to look it up on Wiki again. They had like a half a dozen mummies. Most of the stuff there was 3,000 to 4,000 years old. They had huge collections of jewelry and pottery and things they put organs in. I got to see a cat. I got to see
cats and bird mummies as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah. With little kitten mummies and mummies for was it a monkey or something like that? Like animal mummies. one of them didn't actually have it in the end. Like, here's an example of an ancient forgery, like a 3,000-year-old mummy that looks like a monkey, but it's actually got a vase in it to give it the form. Like, wow, what a find. I got to see a casket from the 2nd dynasty. That's old as shit. And that's before, like, the gold inlaid craziness they did. This thing was just basically, it looked like something you'd give your dad if you didn't like him very much. It's like just a wooden box. Like, I'm not like caskets, like this size. All right, if you can see that on the camera. Just a box that they mummify you in the fetal position and put you in. And the box was not fancy at all. Just like, here you go. Yeah, we didn't like you that much. I thought it was 4,000 plus years old. Just very cool collection. They had a little tour, which was crap. We actually ran out of it really fast. Cliff left quick because he was like a little claustrophobic. It was like underground, lots of people.
It's so funny how you Americans react to stuff which is older than 2,000-year-old. I mean, it's really amazing to watch that. I mean, we live in that shit, right? I mean, we actually have road which has been built 2,000 years ago, and we drive on them. So,
which is why when I'm coming to your neck of the woods, Fabio, for whatever trip you invent, I'm going to be very impressed with everything you got.
Listen, I don't need to invent any trip. Everybody knows my house is open. The closest airport is Pisa. It's well served. A lot of people have got an open invite, so don't be shy.
It's gonna drop it on telling you. Not even gonna tell you. I'm just gonna be at your. I'm just gonna pick the lock. Like, hey, Fabio, you said open invite, right?
Oh, you wouldn't be the first, and you won't be the last to do that trick in my house. So we are well equipped to deal with assholes coming at the very last minute. So. Yeah. No big deal.
But are you equipped to deal? I mean, the females that were on this trip, we were quite a crew.
Scary.
I don't think you could deal with that. Yeah, we were scary, weren't we, JD?
I saw that picture. Is like you and like multiple bisexual women all surrounding you. You're like, woohoo!
Those are the best. I mean, they're usually the soul of the party, so can't complain about that. Bring it on.
JD was whining because he was saying, my wife's now your friend and you're not mine. That's what friends over.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, that was just before I left. Yeah,
my wife is going to learn Hangouts so she can chat with you from time to time. She really liked you.
She is brilliant. And the thing
is, she is. God, I don't know if you had a chance to pick her brain on nursing stuff. She is really smart.
The thing is, she's so tall and I'm so wee.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if all of the ladies that were on the trip, right? This is including
for those who have an image. My wife is about 5'11" and Fiona is about 2'3". So it's the difference.
Size.
Pretty.
There's the scale. I'm 215 at not G-Man 5'11".
Really? Yeah. How the hell do you have 5 more pounds than me? I definitely look fatter than you in those pictures.
You're whiter, but Cap's got more of a punch.
He's got the pouch. He's got the kangaroo thing without the slit.
Could you imagine if all of us females got together for a road trip?
That would be awesome.
Mrs. Cat included and Mrs. Drag as well.
Where is Drag tonight? I'm going to throw him another invite. Maybe he finally broke free from what he could.
Cause havoc.
So I got to say, when Sam and Dieter came to my house, I saw this person. It's like, oh, that must be Mrs. Drag because she clearly looks like a dude. I actually thought it was Mrs. Drag at first. Like, oh, that's not her. That's actually Drag. Boy, was that awkward at first.
Yeah,
but like a man, I apologize. We went about our way.
Mrs. Drag is absolutely gorgeous.
No, I know.
So, Cap, we're not mentioning your girlfriend's name, but can we show the pictures from the wax museum?
Oh yeah.
Because I'm sure everyone's heard of Madame Tussauds Wax Museum. There's other ones around the country. Well, we went to this one. It was her idea, to Cap's girlfriend.
Yeah. So our last day, we each had that one thing we wanted to do, and that was her. So JD wanted to go and check out the coffee place.
I wanted to treat everyone else to it. I wanted everyone else to enjoy it because I had been there a couple nights ago, and I was like, it was so good.
So her thing was, I want to go to Madame Tussauds, and immediately I'm thinking, okay, that'd be great with me, but I know how you are in museums. We're going to overstay our welcome with this group of people because they don't know that you like to sit and read and admire every fine detail of everything. There was a part of me that was ready to be on the defensive mode. I was like, okay, guys, I do apologize. That's just how she is. I know some people can find it annoying. I find it endearing. But that was so much more fun than I ever thought it would be. And then there was we're going to Madame Tussauds, and there's this dive bar right next door. I was advertising Irish coffees also. So JD's like, oh, dude, I want to check their Irish coffee.
Actually, it wasn't the Irish coffee. It was the sign that said you have to pay to pee. I'm like, well, I gotta pee, so I guess I gotta pay. And I started backing the door. I'm like, you guys like what? I'm like, we're going in here. Come on. I gotta pee. We gotta pay. Let's get some coffee. And I just kept moving us in there. Everyone was like, well, fuck it. All right. And you guys just followed me in.
So there was this moment. So really kind of old, kind of tacky-ish kind of place. There's this point where Sam had to go pee. Now, Sam didn't know this at first, but the door to the bathroom, when you open it, it's staring right at the dude who's
yeah, I mentioned that.
I did not consent to this, by the way.
I still have the picture on my phone.
I was going to get harassed.
I went to the bathroom. Like, first thing I did was like, I asked her, I said, so I heard about the pay to pee. She said, oh, no, you can go ahead. I'm like, oh, no, we're going to buy some. And then I went back. I think Deidre went back to the other one. And I noticed that when you open the door to it, both urinals in the sink are wide open. Like, if you open it, like, and not just like, there's no turn to the hallway. There's no turn to the room. You go straight back, door, open it, urinal, sink. You will see whoever's peeing if you open the door from all the way down the hallway. This is not very well planned. So I mentioned this to Kat when I got back, and he had a great idea when Sam finally had to go.
So we open the door, and Sam is prone because he's going to the bathroom. A human being is prone twice when they're in the bathroom and when they're asleep. So Sam is there, and the door squeaks as it opens, and I open it very slowly, and Sam just kind of cocks his head just ever slightly to his right, just to kind of see who's coming through the door.
Snap.
We come in, we start giving Sam shit, and Sam's just like, dude, I'm just trying to pee. Pretty sure he got some of it on his pant leg.
I was aiming for you, asshole.
So then there was a point where Deidre, my girlfriend, and JD's wife started to be slightly affectionate towards each other. And JD and I are just kind of sitting back like ballers, like, yeah. Mm-hmm. All of you want to be famous. All right. You girls have known each other since college, really long time. You haven't seen each other in a long time. You're curious about each other's bodies. You want to explore. That's the scene. Go. So they were mildly affectionate towards each other, which I found kind of hot. So we end up going to so that happened. So we ended up going to the wax museum. So I've been to wax museums before. Everything is kind of roped off. It's like, oh, cool. There's that guy. Oh, there's that guy. This one was different because all the figures were out in the open for you to touch them, but there were props. And holy crap, the props are what made it fun. So there was one with Tiger Woods where our girlfriends posed with Tiger Woods because, they're both white and we know what Tiger's flavor is. And then we took a picture of JD and I with the golf clubs, pretending to whack them afterwards. It's like the before and after.
They had two like cheap ass like putters lying there. I'm like, I know what we can do with these. So,
and then there was the Sutter, the guy who Sutter from like the Gold Rush. He was there, and there's this big pile of gold, and of course Sam was like, "Oh man, gold!" So that happened.
Oh yeah, the Junior just went ping, and he just couldn't help it. He was just standing. We tried to pull him off. It was terrible.
But the funniest thing was the boxing, the G-Man boxing.
I haven't seen that.
I haven't seen it. Deidre, I'm sorry, Spackle recorded it.
Yeah. So.
And yeah, I was like, hold on, Spackle, I want you to record this for me. So I was like, all right, and I basically did. For those of you who don't know it, G-Man did a boxing video of some sort.
Of some sort.
I don't. It's kind of rude to, as Sam will say, it's kind of rude to call it boxing or any kind of fighting at all because his technique is. You thought Ronnie was bad. G-Man's just like pushing his punch is pushing the bag around. It just looked terrible. And so I decided to do a little mockumentary bit of that. And whenever Spackle gets a chance, she can fling it my way, and I'll post it up there. I don't know how it came out. I thought it was funny while I was doing it, at least. But we'd had like multiple Irish coffees, so we were just enjoying ourselves.
Oh yeah, it was fun. Then came the big ass burrito. Now Sam had been talking big game about this burrito, and I'm SoCal, so I know a good burrito. So we Ubered to the burrito place, and this guy, San Francisco has the worst streets ever because they're like sheer cliffs.
What?
It's fucking ridiculous. Like, how do people live in this town? So we make it to this place, and this place looks like a butthole. This place looks disgusting, but we walk in. It smells great, but it looks sketchy as fuck. We order the burritos. They come out, best burrito I've ever had, by far. Sam did good on that one.
Wow. Oh yeah, ditto. Best burrito I've had. It really was. It was amazing.
The place looks sketchy as fuck. It looks like the type of place that like you go when you're just hammered and you're like, I'm not gonna like myself in the morning. But
it's like the plastic
seems like a good decision.
Table kind of look, and they're all chipped and.
It was the type of place I'm pretty sure Rodrigo, the crime lord pigeon, launders his money through. That's the type of place.
Agreed.
Yeah, pigeons in San Francisco, they don't give a fuck. You basically will step on them because they're like, I'm not moving. I mean,
not only did this pigeon not give a fuck, like it was just strutting around, and Sam does the best like impersonation of Rodrigo. I decided to throw a couple crumbs at this bird. This bird did not give a fuck about the crumbs I was throwing down. Like it wasn't good enough for Rodrigo.
But
Rodrigo was there.
That nondescript Asian guy did care that you were throwing those crumbs.
Yeah, so we were sitting next to this family, and this guy was some sort of Pacific Islander of some sort. He gets up and so one of the employees came and tried shooing Rodrigo away, and Rodrigo didn't want any part of it. He's just like, fuck you, I'm Rodrigo. I own this place. I own this town. So Rodrigo kept making his rounds, and finally I decided to throw him some crumbs, and Rodrigo didn't give a fuck about my table scraps. So finally this one guy sitting next to us got pissed off, and he shooed Rodrigo out of the building. And as he walked by, he kind of mumbled something to us. Wasn't sure what language it was. Some sort of English. But
the language of go fuck yourself.
Yeah. But the funniest part about that day was Sam and I were so tired at the end of the night. Like, I could see like our internet personality sort of dissolving away, and like the real us starting to come out. And it's like, dude, we're tired. We're hungry. We just want to go home and sleep.
Yeah, you purchased so many random things. It was like that was when you were high, not earlier in the trip.
Right. Like there's a point where Sam and I, like early on in the day, we had to pee. So we found a bush, and we did what all people in San Francisco do at some point and pee in a bush. We did that. But so much random shit happened that I can't even piece it all together because it's just a...
Well, because we also had Alcatraz. We found that antique arcade room.
Oh my God.
Where they had games from like the 40s and 50s.
So people back then, it's weird how people entertain themselves before the internet. Because I took a video of one thing. So there's this 8-foot fucking woman in like this glass case. I'm thinking, oh, Shani, how'd you get in there?
She was squeezed through toothpaste.
Don't forget, we found Shani in the wax museum as well, or at least her legs.
Oh God! Somebody needs to post pictures of that too. That was.
Oh, they'll be up for those wondering. The pictures will be up at some point.
Yeah. Yes. So we're in this arcade, and I'm asking my girlfriend for quarters, and I put quarters into the fucking Shani because she's got to keep her lights on. So this thing just started gyrating like a big 8-foot tall, 600-pound plus woman just starts wiggling back and forth and laughing. This goes on for 90 seconds. And Sam is to the point where it's like, dude, guys, I just want to go home. I want to go see the sea lions, damn it. So then I'm walking around after that ended and say, okay, well, I see a lamp. And it said, oh, it's a quarter. And said, oh, is very pretty when lit. And this looks like any grandmother's lamp, just like a Tiffany lamp. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to put a quarter in, and there's going to be like a hidden like penis like in the stained glass, and it's going to be hilarious. So I bed at the quarter, and it was just a random lamp. There's nothing special about it. It was just a lamp. That's how people entertain themselves in the fucking 40s. And then going along some more, and I crop dusted this one aisle, and it was awful.
Yeah, we really did some damage to San Francisco's air quality.
So there's this point where...
Oh, you definitely killed that bush you used. I'm pretty sure that thing's not going to make it.
So...
Can I just interrupt for a few minutes? I'm really suffering some jet lag. I got to go back to bed, but I just want to say, and for everyone else who's watching, I had a great time, despite some of the negative stuff that went on. I had a great time. It was fantastic to be able to meet some of the best people I know on the internet, and just hang out and have fun. That was fantastic.
Thanks,
so. I'm going to get going now, so I'll catch you later.
Yeah, get your sleep. Get your sleep.
Yeah. See you around.
I'm going to second Cliff there. I need to sleep as well.
Yeah, good night, Fiona.
Good night, Fifi.
Night, Fiona.
Love you, Fifi.
I'm lucky, too, in that my best day was like just before the last day, when we were basically just sitting in the room waiting for the airport. Was going out with Cap and his girlfriend, as well as Spackle and Sam. We had so much fun, and that I honestly, I'm not sure how many of those Wax Museum pictures we should put up. All right, here, can I tell the Wax Museum bit a little bit, like a little?
Wait, hold on. So just one last thing about Sam. There's a point where Sam and I are exiting the boat to Alcatraz. Dude, I really got to fart. It's like, dude, just fart right now. And he's like, no, dude, it's gonna be loud. So he's like, all right, I got it. I think about coughing, and as I'm coughing, you just let it rip. So I start coughing, and everybody starts looking at me like there's something wrong with me. And I look at Sam. He's like, gives me like the nod, like, "Oh yeah, the deed is done." So,
yeah, we really brought the white trash quotient up on this trip.
really did.
like JD may be from Ohio, but we brought the refined white trash to this.
Just all that seafood and alcohol just went right through us. It was awful.
It was not a good mix in our stomach.
There's a point where at the end of the night we're hungry and we're at Safeway and I'm just getting whatever. Like my body wants real food. It's not sure what, but I'm just grabbing for anything. And there's a conversation Sam and I had about what kind of delicatessen meat we should buy.
Oh my God.
You know what? I'm starting to reconsider the open invitation. I mean, JD, you're still game, but Cap and Sam, you got to give me a phone call, at least a couple of days before, because I'm not really that sure.
I'll bring my wife. She's hot.
Oh, I told you, you're still game. Don't push it. You're still game. But those two suckers, they better give me a phone call.
Is it the farting, Fabio?
No, I mean, farting is okay.
Farting's hilarious, does California.
Yeah. Come on.
So, Madame Tussauds. Well, I mean, on the trip down there, Cap's girlfriend had already had the idea she wanted to go there, so she's getting online tickets and like, how much is it? She's like, well, it's $20 if you go online. I said, well, here I just gave her $40, and I think Sam and Spackle did the same thing, and so we had that planned out. So that was apparently there for any time during the day. So once we got there, we came in. First thing we go in there, we're like, the guy's like, let's take pictures, and he made us take 3 pictures. They were all horrible pictures. We took infinitely better pictures once we got down to the actual Wax Museum. It's like, all right, here, stand there and smile. Now pretend you're running. And when we saw them at the end, like, hey, you want to pay $25? I would give you $25 to destroy them. They're horrible, terrible pictures. Anyway, once you get to the place, there's an elevator. We're like going down, and we're already cracking jokes and having a good time. And we open it in the bottom, and we're honestly, all of us, I think, except for Cap's girlfriend, we're expecting to be bored. We were like, this is going to be like the low point. Like we just had, a couple drinks, and instead of going to a bar, we're going to look at wax shit. This is going to suck. But once we get down there, we realize we're the only ones down there. There is no security. There are no cameras. Nobody who works there cares what you do. You can fuck every statue and nobody cares.
Yikes.
So the first thing we do is grab Robin Williams by the crotch. Robin was having a good day that day. Because we were like, hello, Robin. take a picture, take a picture. Wife's turn, take a picture. That's the start of the trip, and it just got worse from there. We're like, all right, how many tits and crotches can we grab, and how many ways? How many different statues can our wife and girlfriend make out with when we take a picture?
So we went from the doors open and Robin Williams is standing right there, and I'm thinking, okay, everything's gonna be behind glass or some shit. No, Robin Williams is standing right there. So immediately it's like, oh man, he's got a decent little bulge here. That's nice, anatomically correct. And then came the girlfriend's like, oh, well, I want to take a picture of me going down on them. It's like, okay.
First thing comes to mind, apparently.
So that's the first wax sculpture we see. That's our encounter with it. And then we go around to the next room, and that's where they have like the back of the cable car, and then they have like a VW bus, and that's where they had all the gay stuff.
Flag and gay pride stuff picture. And I don't know, Cap, has that been uploaded yet? Because that was gold.
Yes, that Dieter did upload that, so that is there. Just Tommy Hall, where are you, Tommy? It's safe.
Get your mouth out.
If y'all don't mind, I want to sneak in here for just one moment.
Oh, we're not done.
Yes, give me 1 second because I wasn't planning
Why
on
not?
staying.
Go ahead, Shadow.
But just kind of as a final farewell and what have you, seeing as unfortunately I couldn't actually make it. And seeing as what day it is today, I thought we should take a quick moment of ARG in Jade's honor. ARG.
ARG.
Arr.
Our favorite day of the year, man. Anyway.
Yeah. Oh.
I'll catch y'all later. Hopefully next time we pull something like this, I'll be able to actually fucking make it with health concerns and all that.
Yeah. No more strokes, dude. Cut that out.
Need a SoCal trip. SoCal
Anyway.
trip.
If you don't have a stroke before coming, we'll drink you into one. We'll make sure you go out happy.
That works for me, man. Anyway, I'm going to get the fuck out of here. I just wanted to take my moment of ARG for Jade.
For Jade.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, that was Taylor Swift. She got grabbed. Oh, I had a lot of fun with Kate Winslet.
Kate Winslet. Yeah, I have some funny pictures.
There's one with me next to Morgan Freeman. That's gonna get posted. For sure.
Yes. Did I send that to you?
Yeah, I think you did. I think my wife also took one picture too. I was like,
okay, cool.
Just looking like him. I look just like him. That's why it's in my picture. I look just like Golden Morgan Freeman.
And then you had freaking the girls bonding over George Clooney.
Oh yeah, they both are fans.
Yeah, they're fans. But the funniest was Peter Dinklage. So they had a Peter Dinklage.
Oh yeah.
And the girls did like an over-under on him at the same time. So my girlfriend was on her knees while JD's wife was bent over with his face in her tits.
My wife does have the bosom, doesn't she?
Yes, she does. So
giving Dinklage a nice little helping bit of it.
So I think what made the Wax Museum great was we had such low expectations walking in, and it ended up being one of the funniest things we did on the trip. But there's a point where I kept looking at Sam. It's like, dude, Sam just wants his burrito. Sam wants his burrito. Sam is tired. He wants to hit the road, but he wants to be able to.
You forgot In-N-Out. JD got In-N-Out for the first time.
That was just before Bam Tussauds. We stopped at In-N-Out.
So
we've never had In-N-Out before, and apparently we're like, oh, there's a pretty small menu. You're like, oh no, it's all hidden.
It's what's not on the menu. That's good.
Like you can get a grilled cheese, you just have to ask for it.
Yeah, you can get a Neapolitan shake. You just have to ask for it.
Like, all right.
Just like animal-style fries aren't on the menu, but yet they have a box for animals.
Of course, San Francisco, so I'm in line. There's a decent line.
Oh, no. There's a line. At any In-N-Out, there's always a line.
And the funny part is that, we got a double and gorilla French fries. French fries gorilla style. Animal. What? I don't fucking care.
Gorilla Glue was the weed.
Got animal style. And then, they're calling numbers, and the numbers are all out of order. It's like 14, 72, 15, 38, 12. Like, what the fuck? Where's mine? I'm 15. I'm waiting. And like, okay, well, 16, 17, 18. Like, you motherfucker, you skipped me.
The same thing happened.
Was order a burger and fries. They're ordering burgers and fries.
Yeah. Shit. The same thing happened at the La Fartera or whatever the burrito place was.
Farolito.
Yeah, they did it to us there. Like 18, 19. I'm like, I'm 17. God damn it. No one wants to give me my goddamn food. But yeah, that burrito was amazing.
That place is legendary. I went there with my buddy a while ago, and it is unbelievable.
Oh, and Sam, you have to tell us the story on how you found out about the burrito. Tell us about the guy who came up with the algorithm on
The guy
on
behind
this burrito.
538.
Website.
Yeah, the guy behind 538.com is a statistician who's obsessed with burritos. So he created a March Madness bracket of burritos to find out what was America's best burrito. And this one was like number 2 in San Francisco or something like that.
He was not wrong. That was delicious.
It's really an amazing burrito.
Very tasty burrito in the butthole of San Francisco.
You know what was really funny?
The mission's cool. I wish we had gotten the chance to walk around more. It's a very like Brooklyn type area.
Yeah. Well, the takeaway from that place was we were trying to find. So the B plot of this trip was we need to find Pliny the Elder, which is one of the most sought after beers in the world.
The one thing we failed at, sadly.
So we walked into the perfect liquor store in the butthole of San Francisco that looks like the type of place that would carry Pliny the Elder. And we walked in, we asked the guy, and he's all, I don't know, let me check. It's like, no, dude, you don't check.
He didn't know what the fuck it was. He's like, Pliny the what?
You wouldn't know if you carry Russian River because there'd be a line out the door.
He didn't ask the other guy, like, hey, do we have Pliny? He's like, what? They both of them like, what, who, what, Pliny, what? So immediately I heard that, I'm like, no way. No, they would know.
And plus, let's not forget the Radio Shack that we saw.
Yeah, they had a bootleg Radio Shack.
We saw a bootleg Radio Shack.
I didn't even think that was something that could possibly exist.
Just
I think someone who like worked there would pass by one day and go, wait a minute, we don't have any places out here. What is this bullshit? Nope. So we saw a bootleg Radio Shack. The really funny thing is that at the start of this, like on the way down, Sam and Spackle are like, yeah, we're planning to leave like 3:30ish, maybe.
Didn't leave until 9 p.m.
We didn't leave until 9 p.m.
So we were having a good time. We were entertained.
Shitty car ride back home, by the way.
Yeah.
Huh?
Shitty car ride home.
Yeah, that was a
kind
very
of a late car ride home.
Very long and lonely.
But hey, before all that, we haven't really mentioned it yet. It's kind of we haven't mentioned it. Jade's funeral was actually quite nice.
Yeah, it was.
We went down to let me take our second.
Moss
Landing. Although it was funny that the instructions to get down that we got, and this is probably our fault, were pretty vague. Go to Moss Landing. Where? Moss Landing. Where Moss Landing? Yeah, but Moss Landing. So we just keep driving. We drive into it, and it's not a small place. And we're like, okay, let's park. That's good. There. That's a fish-looking place. We're going to park there. And so we parked there. We're like, that looks like delicious. Maybe we should go in. Do we have time? No, we got like 20 minutes. And then we get a message from, I don't know, whoever who knew where it was. And it's like, actually, you need to you need to drive all the way back around here and then come all the way back down here. And that's where the boat is. There's the boat. It's basically a whale watching boat that we're kind of hijacking to not watch whales, but to go and spread our ashes. And so we're like, we don't feel like driving. So we just, it's probably like half a mile when it was all said and done. We went ahead and walked it. We walked the 15 minutes and just walked over there.
The smells were amazing.
Yeah, we met Olsbajak as well as Lucifer. I mean, that was the first time I met him. Was Lucifer Almighty was there.
We saw Drag's spirit animal.
Well, we saw Drag's family there. Remember? There's this. There were a ton of sea lions. They're just sunning themselves. They just jump up here and like.
I tried to walk up to one, but immediately got up and went, ugh. Like, okay, never mind. I'm sorry.
It has a weird.
They're all being adorable. They like flop around like, we love the sun. We love the sun. Kind of like
sea lions are actually pretty incredible in how they have the same self-important look on their face that Drag sometimes.
Well, yeah, one of them was all haughty. One was like, screw you guys. I'm way up my nose in the sky.
But the memorial itself was very nice. Almost everybody went up and said their piece.
I got a little sick.
A lot of people might have got sick.
I was like, I got to say my thing first, and then I was like, I couldn't watch everyone else as they did their bit. I listened intently, but I had to look out towards the sea to keep from getting sick at that point.
There was a point where when we pulled in, I saw Hannah hand Red what looked like a bag of Campbell's, and like, oh, there's a bag of soup, and it's like, oh, that's not soup. Hannah just got really sick.
Your prayer was not answered.
Well, the one girl,
No.
there's one girl, I think it was like one of Jade's nieces, perhaps, Asian descent. And apparently she threw up like 5 times the whole trip. Like, she was not ready for this.
No. It was some
I
pretty
made-
choppy waters.
Yeah, I didn't realize. I figured I decided to Iron Man. Like, I don't need no, what do you call it? What's the drug?
Dramamine.
Dramamine. I don't need no Dramamine. I'm an Iron Man. I've been on boats before.
You mean after a night of drinking scotch, you're not going to get Dramamine?
Yeah, pretty much. I was stupid on my part. So I get up there, and I honestly, the first thing I do is I climb up the very top. I'm like, ooh, there's stairs. Can we go up them? Yes. Da, 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 da. I'm at the top going, woo, I'm the king of the world. This is fun. And it was. And then we stopped and turned. And then I'm like, well, gee, I have to pee. So I go down the ladder, and I'm still fine. I start walking down to the bathroom while the boat is dipping back and forth. And that very quickly became the wrong thing to do. Like, very quickly, I'm like, ooh, maybe I shouldn't be down here. Ooh, it's getting worse pretty fast. By the time I got back up from pee, I'm like, oh boy. I'm just, hold on. And like for the next like hour, all I'm doing is just like, don't do it. Don't do it.
Hannah was green. Hannah was literally green.
Yeah. I was saved by a stomach cramp. I went to the back. I'm like, guys, here it comes. I actually like waved me all the way. I get to the back and go, nothing but a water. And then stomach cramp, like, oh, I stopped it. Okay, now we just hold on for the next like 20 minutes till we get back to shore, which is what I did. And I survived the rest of it. But that part of it that took some of the fun out of it. I was going to open it like chat with people about Jade, but instead I'm like, don't throw up. One plus though, when I was looking out away for everyone during the ceremony, I got to see a whale go completely out of the water, doing one of those big jumps, like woo. Did it several times, and no one else was looking. I'm like, hey, I get to watch this while not throwing up. But in between all that, I got to hear some beautiful words from everybody. Pew in particular, he had brought well wishes and morning thoughts from people on the internet. Christina Blackfeather's poem was beautiful, by the way. Christina, well done. That was really captured it. And then we took her little pink thing that was her ashes, and we dropped it in the ocean. We all said goodbye and dropped our flowers in the water, and it was wonderful.
Actually, can I just throw in one last little like jab at Red? When Pete went up to read all the comments from people on the internet, Red dipped out.
He fucking did. Jackass. Yeah, well, we knew that. Anyway, we've gone over the jackass part pretty thoroughly, haven't we? I'm surprised I keep hearing little bits I hadn't heard before. I'm like, oh, there was more. Oh. Anyway, that kind of wraps up the trip. It's a little bit. There's probably a little bit more. We might bring some up later, but I think that tells the story. So yeah, Reds ruined a big chunk of this, but you know what? We managed to salvage it towards the end, mostly once he got the fuck home. Yeah, what was our best time? Monday when he left? Yeah.
Well, Sam and I had a great time on Sunset. No, Sam and I had a great time the whole time.
I wish I had missed that. There was a couple times where the wife and I were just burnt out. Like we had gone to the city several times.
You guys were honeymooning, bro. You guys were honeymooning.
Yeah. We also had the one Uber back where the guy. This is one of the few times we gave him like less than 5 stars, because the guy, he just wanted to touch every brake light, like, oh, brake light, for an hour to get back from San Francisco. Guy got like he had to get as close as he could, like slamming the brake over and over again. And the wife and I had just had some wine and meatballs that were not agreeing with us. Capianos in San Francisco, don't go there. Did not agree with us at all, and so we're
also
just
don't
like
go to Chiapinos, because that's the actual way that you pronounce the name of that place. But
Capianos, Capono. All right, I'm American. Must speak American.
Oh, damn! You know what we forgot to talk about was the Rottweiler that we saw.
Oh God, biggest balls ever on that dog, and biggest head.
Describe this dog, please.
He was literally just all head and balls. Just nicest dog ever. Also, I don't know what happened to his owner, but I couldn't understand a fucking word his owner said. It was bad, and he was dragging his owner like down the street because he was so much stronger. He was a cute little guy.
It's like
big guy.
Like he was growing from the neck down. Got red balls.
Yeah, we randomly ran into a Rottweiler. That was such a random day. We got so many random things done.
It was amazing.
Oh, here's something funny. Apparently, the people who came to troll us, we got a whole bunch of dislikes. This is just somebody in the outside chat says, "You guys play video games? Well, Red lied to me, so I hate him. Good, we won't dislike again. Done with him."
Wait, what?
If this is to be believed, and I honestly have no idea, Red convinced some people from, I think, 4chan to throw dislikes here, and he did it on the guys that I guess we don't play video games. So this guy in the outside chat says, "Oh, we're not going to do that again." He lied to us. I'm like, yeah, I mean, I have 7 different. There's 5 people in my house, and we have 7 computers. 3 of them are gaming computers. Oh yeah, we play games in this house.
I have a whole channel on Twitch that's nothing but me playing games.
Vince alone, who kills all of us when it comes to gaming. So yeah, dude. I hope he just turns around, and just flags the shit out of Red here, "Oh, you turned on me, you fucker." All right. Anyway, I think that wraps up our bit. I'm sure we'll go into some other little bits and details, especially once the pictures come out. Don't forget the Monica Lewinsky, where Captain gets to play Bill Clinton. That was nice. I got to be Monica. Good.
I actually didn't get to enjoy that too much. It was my girlfriend and your wife who actually kind of played that card.
Actually, my wife decided just to attack your girlfriend's neck for some reason. I mean, she's a neck girl, so I wasn't surprised that she does it to me all the time. She's a vampire that way. But check, she's like, "This will be a good picture." Just went.
That's fine. I allow it.
It's all good.
It's all good.
Anyway, that covers it. So, my way to end these things, and there's no way I can't end on this. Redline, go fuck yourself.